What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
What's up, losers?
Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race.
see. Let's pause that. Start Facebook. Give me a minute. Facebook. More copyright claims, of course. Why not? What's up, everybody? Thanks, Mona. You're good. Thanks for stopping by. Saying hey. There it is. Like, change accounts. Share now. This should be good, maybe. See if I can highlight a chat. Moonbeam, there you go. All right, let's roll the intro.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Sorry, I'm still getting together. What's up? What's happening? What's up? Got Patron in my cup. Welcome, everybody. I'm here. I know you guys have been waiting on me. How's Bort doing tonight? You guys go over there and thumbs down. I heard he's got an expensive painting. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out. If you want to support the show, do it at buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer. Any of these links, the Just Quick Tools link, whatever the link is that the mods put in the chat, you can use one of those. What else? Oh, I have another clip. We didn't get to this clip the other day. Remember I was showing you the necessary conversation mom finally came around? Well, it's not. She had more to her statement. Here it is.
ICE is totally out of control. They need to shut it down. It's ridiculous. They're killing people now. I see it. Now I do see it. They're killing people they shouldn't kill. It needs to be shut down.
Holy shit. You're saying, correct me if I'm wrong here, you're saying abolish ICE?
Yes.
What the f***? Are you kidding me right now?
I don't like people getting murdered that shouldn't.
I think ICE needs to be completely stood down and brought back up. Like we need people to deport and guard the border and stuff, but they've got this untouchable mentality. I think you just can't, it's not easy to root out. You know what I mean? They need to fix it.
Be murdered. That's ridiculous. That's terrible. It's terrible.
Please say this. Please just on this camera right now, say abolish ICE.
He said that the other day too, that he didn't have money, a car, or insurance, so he can't go to the doctor, and he has no idea if his cancer's back. I think he was just using it to beg, but basically he's like, oh, the cancer could be back right now, and I don't even know it, and I can't even pay my internet bill or whatever.
Abolish ICE.
Oh my God. I wish Haley was here. I'm getting chills.
Get rid of them.
This is the biggest step forward you have ever taken in the. We've been doing the show for
abolish
whatever
ICE.
Amount of years, 4 and change.
That video got to me. That lady was good. Yeah.
You're saying abolish ICE?
Yes, I am. I talked to Dad about it today. He said, nah. I said, yes.
Wait, is Dad on the side of the ICE agents still?
Of course he is. Yes.
And so how does he justify this?
I don't think he has seen that clip, but he knew about
it. Doesn't matter.
Houston.
Holy crap. I can't believe this.
Even if he sees the clip, he'll come up with a way to justify it, or they was liberals, they deserved it, blah, blah, blah.
I don't even know what to say. You're literally...
It started out, I talked about this last time. It started out where they were doing, I thought, good. Getting only the bad guys out of here. Only the bad guys that shouldn't have been here. That
most of the people they kill are not even like the people they're picking up, you know, they're bystanders.
Have come and gone and done crimes, the criminals. I thought that those were the people that they were taking out of our country. But now look what they're doing. This is not good for anyone. They need to stop. ICE is totally out of control. They need to shut it down. He doesn't want.
Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta go kill a spider. Yeah, just watch this clip. I'll be right back.
People coming in the United States that are going to put bombs in every city in the United States and blow us up and kill people.
He doesn't care.
Yes, I do believe he cares.
If you have $1 million, you can buy citizenship. That's a program he set up.
And I'm sure they do a background check to make sure these people are coming for education or something like that. He doesn't want bad people in here blowing up the United States.
I mean, he's best friends with Netanyahu, who's blowing up Gaza.
Right.
Like that has become our ally, like somebody who is trying to eradicate an entire population of people. Like we are the bad guys. And it's because of Donald Trump.
I think he needs to connect more with the American people. I do.
I'm back. Sorry. The fucking spider was setting off my goddamn alert for my outdoor camera. Like it built a web right beside the camera. And it kept saying, someone's at the door. Someone's at the door over and over. I did it last night too, and I forgot to kill it. Got to do it while it's fresh on the mind.
Oh, he ain't doing that. Remember when we were talking about how he fired Pam Bondi and he fired Kristi Noem and he fired all of these women?
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to bring it up. Kash Patel, still in office. Hespeth, still in office.
I've heard that's going back.
Big breath.
That might be the next one to go. He doesn't want people coming in the United States that are going to put bombs in every city in the United States and blow us up and kill people.
He doesn't care.
Got one mud on my
Yes, I
head.
do believe he cares.
If you have $1 million,
He doesn't give a
you
fuck.
can buy citizenship. That's a program he set up.
And I'm sure they do a background check to make sure these people are coming for education.
Actually, it's not even a program, right? They gave Nicki Minaj one of these free cards to like immigration cards or whatever, and then told her it was a fake one.
Or something like that. He doesn't want bad people in here blowing up the United States.
I mean, he's best friends with This is another example of how he is lying to you to get you scared to believe all of his bullshit. He is just lying to the American public. There was no reason to do this. And now
Ooh, I saw a really good video. I'm going to look it up while y'all are watching
he is
this.
getting richer by the day off of this war while we're struggling to pay rent and buy groceries. He doesn't give a He lied to you again.
The first time that we went in there, I thought we did it because there were like 7 or 8 of those big leaders in one spot, and he wanted to try to get them.
But which is it then? Is it that he wanted to get the leaders, or did he want to stop the nuclear program?
Both of it. Those were the two main things, is what I wrote.
And now that he has, I guess, in his terms, liberated Iran, well, are the people better off there? Are they doing better?
I have no idea. I haven't seen much about that lately.
No, they're being killed, so no, they're not doing better.
Okay.
This is another example of how he is lying to you to.
Is there a time limit beyond which you would say this is now a situation like dropping a nuclear weapon or pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell? If we go a year, how about 52 weeks?
I do believe, yeah, it'll be over in a year. It will be over in a year.
Okay, what if it's not?
That might be one of my turning points.
Not might. Would it be or not?
Maybe.
Okay.
I just want to add, Kash Patel, still part of the cabinet. Pete Hespeth still has his job.
Oh, we already saw that one, didn't we?
I mean, abolish ICE is like, that's a big step. That's not saying reform. That's not saying they need better training, defund them even. You're saying get rid of the entire agency.
Get rid of them.
Holy shit. What is the difference? What's the difference?
All right, I got a clip for you. They outright said in the Oval Office, and federal politicians, the president, Utah's Republican coalition, all fucking lied to the American people. Trump says, oh, they got this land around these monuments. You can't hunt it. You can't fish it. You can't graze on it. you basically can't even walk on it. That's what he says. He's like, and he looks at the guys. He's like, to my understanding, right? You can't even walk on it, right? None of that's true. And here's all the documents to back this up. Remember, they reduced the Bear Ears and Grand Staircase by 3 million acres or some shit. They're like a drop in the bucket compared to what they used to be.
Your president lied to you today. So did Utah's entire federal delegation. On camera, to your face.
And lock those acres up. Over 3 million acres.
For nobody to use, right? You can't do anything. You can't go hunting. You can't go fishing. You can't do anything. You can virtually not even walk on it.
None of that's true. In the proclamation she's going to show in a minute, it specifically calls out grazing, hunting, hiking, fishing, everything that you want to do. And it allows that, it leaves that up to the states, basically, because that stuff falls under the states, typically.
That's exactly right, sir. So you were remedying that time.
I remember now. I do remember. I have a great memory.
And Mr. President, I know Senator.
And this is actually better than the first time. What we're doing.
He says you couldn't.
So he did this once, the first time he was president, but didn't reduce it as much. Right now, he claims that so you can use it, so we can use it, so the American people can use it. What they're really doing is they're letting people get leases on it to mine it. Because last time he did it when he was in office, all these leases came in and got approved and mines went up and then Biden undid it all. But now we're back here.
Hunt, fish, or hardly walk there. That's not true, and you don't have to just take my word for it. I want you to read the proclamations. Here's the proclamation that declared Grand Staircase Escalante a national monument. Now, Clinton's proclamation says specifically that hunting and fishing stay under Utah's control.
Hunting and fishing, regulated by the state.
Let's look at Obama's proclamation of Bears Ears National Monument. It specifically calls out rock climbing, hunting, hiking, backpacking, canyoneering, whitewater rafting, mountain biking, and horseback riding right here. And it also specifically protects grazing, hunting, and fishing right here. Nothing was ever locked up.
They're lying to you, saying basically like, oh, this is land that you can't even use and it's just extra land and we're not supposed to have it and blah, blah, blah. They just open it up to businesses. That's all they're doing. You could use it the entire time. No one was stopping you. Yeah, you might have to get a stamp or you might have to get a license. We'll follow whatever rules are in your area. But you could use it the entire fucking time. Who couldn't use it? Businesses.
You've always been able to walk, hunt, fish, and graze on this land. They say that they're giving the land back to you. But read Trump's order. The land does not go back to Utah. It stays federal. The only thing that changes after Trump did what he did today is that mining companies can now stake claims again, and the government can lease it out, and the cultural sites lose their protection plan. Monument status blocked new.
By the way, they're trying to say like, oh, well, the law says that, like Grand Staircase is this big, and the law says that we're only supposed to take a piece of land that's just barely big enough that will suffice, right, to protect the monument. We're not supposed to be these giant claims of lands. What they're not telling you is that all these archaeological sites, cultural sites, sites that haven't been found yet, fossils, all that shit's there too. It's not just about the one monument like the Grand Staircase or Bears Ears or whatever. It's about all the sites that surround it that are now unprotected, be trampled through, mined under, staked out as claims for the companies.
New mining claims, new oil and gas leases, and new coal leases. It kept vehicles on existing roads, and it protected the ruins and the rock art. It never touched your grazing permit, and it never touched your hunting tag. Both proclamations say so in plain English. This was never about your hiking boots. It's about uranium under Bears Ears and coal under Grand Staircase Escalante. And we've seen this before.
What's happening?
Oh, fuck. That was my bad. Hold on.
Your president never touched your grazing permit, and it never touched this Escalante. And we've seen this before. In 2017, the last time Trump shrunk these monuments, at least 18 mining claims went up on the ground. He
literally in just his last time he did this in 2017, 18 mining claims.
Removed from Grand Staircase. And companies asked to lease tens of thousands of acres inside the old Bears Ears boundary. They say that Utahns wanted this. We didn't. 7 in 10 Utah voters want these monuments kept whole, and that includes
70% of the voters in Utah didn't want any change.
Most Republicans. Mike,
why do the Republican lawmakers want it? Kickbacks, donations, campaign funds, super PACs.
Lee tried to gut Grand Staircase through Congress this spring and lost because hundreds of thousands.
Mike Lee tried to do this before through Congress, the way it should have been done. He lost. He didn't have the support that he needed, nowhere close to the support he needed. So he took it to the president and to the Republicans from Utah and said, well, if we can't get it passed as an actual law, how about we just do it right here, right? We'll do an executive order.
Thousands of us called and wrote in. So he went around you and he went straight to the president instead without any tribal consultation or public comment period. They went around us because they knew they couldn't beat us. Inside the boundaries of the original monuments are over 100,000 archaeological sites. There are cliff dwellings, petroglyphs, and burial grounds that 5 tribal nations fought for years to protect. Grand Staircase holds one of the best dinosaur fossil records on the planet, and paleontologists say we have barely started researching them. You can't unmine a mesa, and you can't unloot a grave. And we're so tired of politicians playing games with our public lands. They shrink it, restore it, shrink it again every time the White House changes hands. That's no way to protect anything. We want the full monuments back, and we want them protected permanently so no president can ever do this again.
I'm telling you, anybody can talk this guy into anything. Any other world leader, any person that's around him for 5 minutes, gives him a couple compliments, and pitch it in a way that makes him the savior of whatever, and the Democrats the losers because they were doing the opposite, and you could sell them on anything.
We've already stopped them once. We can do it again. So what we need to do now, donate and support the Native American Rights Fund, the Utah Diné Bikéyah, the Bears Ears Intertribal Coalition, and the Grand Canyon Trust. Contact your representatives. It takes 30 seconds. These lands are not theirs to sell. They are ours to defend.
I don't know. It just sucks trying to deal with fucking Trump. He's a child, dude.
Everything I've ever done is with the benefit of myself. I don't give 2 shits about any of you cocksucking, taint-licking fucks, because all you do is obey me, and I literally ended child cancer research funding so I could save a tiny little penny, so I cut funding to those investigating me because I hate you stupid fucking idiots. We're actually stupid. If you voted for me and you still support me, you're the scum of the earth and nobody likes you, yet you'll still support me and defend everything I say. In fact, I want to kill more people. What if I just bomb another country?
I wish this was satire.
I'm the first president to bomb 8 countries in a single fucking year, and yet all you're going to do is support me, and I want AI to kill the world. I don't care. I don't care if I destroy the world. I'm going to corrupt everything, and fuck you. I'm going to pass the You Die Now bill. How's that for context, fucker? Everything I've ever done is with the benefit of myself. I don't get
The You Die Now bill. And then we have this guy. Did you guys see this? So there's a guy that owns these porta potties that was doing here's what happened. So basically what he said is a guy went out to pump the porta potties, and when he got there was somebody in one of them. He knocked on the door and said, hey, you got 10 minutes, whatever, I'm going to clean these other ones out. Then you need to be out so I can clean this one. The guy says, okay. He goes about, he actually gives him like 15 minutes, comes back, the door's still locked, he's knocking on the door, but no one will say anything. So he has to use his little key to flip the lock to open the door. He opens the door and doesn't see anybody in there. And he starts to walk away and get his hose and shit to clean it. And someone goes, hey. And he looks down in there and sees like a fucking arm and a head. And there's a homeless guy in the porta shitter in the tank. And the fire department's trying to cut his ass out. Ooh, he splashed. Dude, they have no patience. He's like, come get me, man. They have no patience for this guy.
Dude, I'm gonna move my motorcycle. Lean forward like you did before. Lean forward and come out.
There's an arm.
Hey guys. You know I was like.
Eye protection, boys. Shit gets in your eyes, you're definitely catching a disease.
Push it the other way. There you go. Lean forward. I ain't listening to shit. Lean forward. Put your head in the fucking thing. No, I'm not listening. Put your head through the thing like you were when you first showed up.
No patience.
No, they aren't. Lean forward, dog. I'm not listening. Lean forward like you were before. Now you're just talking now. No, lean forward. Put your head through the hole. You got to move. Get the fuck out of there. Hurry up. Bro, come on. So lean forward like you have your head through the first. You got space now. No, you lean. Stick your head through. Put your head through the hole. No, lean your head through the hole. Come on, get on out of there. There you go.
There's more to this story. Hold on. We'll find it. I think it was called Patriot Porta Potties or some shit. This guy.
Hey everybody, here to set the story straight for what happened on July 14th, 2026. My name is
Patriot Shitters.
Gentleman. I'm a partner with Patriot Portable Restrooms here in Kansas City. But one of our guys went to pick up an event from the World Cup. I knocked on all the doors, made sure nobody was in the restrooms. He did find one of them locked, knocked on the door, and let the gentleman know he had 10 minutes to get out. Picked up everything else, went back to that toilet, and knocked again. The man inside said he was not going to get out. Luckily, a police officer on a motorcycle went by. Our driver.
What the fuck, dude?
Come on, get on out of there. You got your eviction notice.
My bad. I'll catch back
Hey
up.
everybody, here to
Sometimes it just scrolls on its own.
Picked up everything else. Sir on a motorcycle went by. Our driver waved him down. Cop walked up to the door and asked the man to exit the toilet. The man replied that he could not reach the door and couldn't get out of the toilet. They looked inside and didn't see anybody. The lid was closed. No one was in the restroom. It kind of startled them. All of a sudden, a head popped out of the toilet and he said, "I'm in here." Fire department came after that.
It's just his head, dude. It's just his head. It's just his head.
Came after that and tried to instruct the man to exit the toilet, and the man would not do it. They asked him why he went in, and he told them he was retrieving a Mountain Dew bottle that he dropped in from the night before. So that put him inside of the tank for about 8 hours, if all of that was true. After it was cut open, the man was able to...
He sells porta potties and porta potty accessories.
Toilet. Fire department did hook up water to their truck and gave him a free shower.
Free shower. They hosed him off.
Long story short, horrible situation. Thank you to the Kansas City, Missouri Fire Department and Police Department for all the help.
Lean forward like you did before. Lean forward, dog. Oh, lean your head through the hole.
Listen, Linda.
Put that arm up. Don't move. Watch your head, okay?
Do you like carry Vicks that you can put under your nose?
Don't move.
Hosing him down. Look at that picture, dude. Damn. Like a Jack in the Box. I wonder if it actually shows him getting out or not. That's what I was looking for. Had to be a tough. Oh, here he comes. Holy shit. That's AI.
That's real smart to say.
So no, it doesn't show him getting out.
Come out. No, you can put your left arm straight up. Listen to me. Left arm straight up.
This is all real. Then it went AI for some reason.
Lean forward. Keep leaning. Push back a little. Come on.
Looks like he's being birthed. Looks real.
Watch your head, okay?
Do you like carry Vicks that you can put under your nose?
Looks legit. All right, what else we got? Look at this horrible. So I'm not a big fan of First Amendment auditors because I feel like they would get on my, like, I understand what they're doing. I understand the point they're trying to prove. I understand you're allowed to be filmed in public. There's not much you can do. They're allowed to film banks or, you know, whatever from the sidewalk. But I feel like they'd get on my fucking nerves so quick that I would be in one of their videos like, oh, this guy's all worked up because they're just dicks about it, right? But here's one time a First Amendment auditor stood up for a good cause, I think.
When she came out, so she didn't come back. She didn't come back. That's a little rough.
Did you see that?
When she came out, so she didn't come back. She didn't come back. That's a little rough. What do you think?
Slamming that baby down.
When she came out, so she didn't come back.
That's fucked.
She didn't come back. That's a little rough.
You can see his head rock.
What do you think?
Like, I'm not saying, like, someone needs to fucking come in and take the baby immediately, but that is clearly signs that something's wrong there. And I appreciate her saying, somebody saying, you know, hey, that's a little bit rough. We don't need a fucking SWAT team or to, like, fucking string her up or nothing. But somebody should be watching this. Someone should be saying something that's a little rough for fucking a baby in a stroller.
Somebody treat you like that?
But guess what happens? She goes and tells her husband and her friend's husband.
That's obnoxious. She just picked that kid up 3 times and slammed him in the stroller. Yeah.
Spoke to some young lady that was dealing with a child earlier.
Spoke to a young lady who was dealing with a child.
Yeah. He came up and told her to, calm down and.
Oh, okay. The one that slammed the child into the stroller.
Well, I don't think she slammed.
No, it's on video. Yeah. She didn't come back.
Okay. Well, so maybe you should keep your opinions to yourself. Is my point.
No, I don't.
The video.
I don't keep my opinions to myself.
Why you show me the video?
What kind of shit is that? Keep my opinion to myself.
Yeah.
I'm older than you.
None of your fucking business what she's doing is the point. Okay?
Well, if she wants to do it in public, it is my business. Yes, it is.
Let's see the video.
And you're going to defend that shit? I hope it's not your kid.
It's my kid.
Oh, good. Well, you shouldn't be defending that shit either.
Yeah, I think.
You really
You
should.
have kids?
You should have just left well
kids?
enough alone.
Do you have kids?
This is my son right here.
Yeah? And you never once had a hard time with it? You filming everything?
No, I never once hit my kid.
Oh, you filming everything, pussy?
Slammed him into a stroller. No, your wife's abusive, and I would put an end to it if I was you. Don't try to take it out on the guy with the camera.
Film everything.
Yeah, I do film everything.
Protect yourself. Smart.
What is that, a threat?
No.
I'm standing right here, tough guy. Knock yourself out.
No, I'm shit.
Yeah, he's a shit show?
Yeah.
Is this what these guys
This
do?
is what they do. They go around
Shit shows? Yeah.
Looking for a reaction.
Thank you. Leave it alone. You just heard it.
Yep, no, I know.
Yeah, do what the guy says. You just heard it. Follow orders, bro. What are you shaking about? You should be that upset that she slammed that fucking kid into a stroller 3 times. Not upset with me.
Exactly.
Get a grip on yourself, seriously. Think about what's going on, man.
If anything, ask to see the fucking video.
Little kid.
Maybe he doesn't know what
That's what you
happened,
should
but
be worried about. Not me. Yeah, tough guy. Huffing and puffing with your big breathing. Take your shit down the road, bro. Nobody's afraid of you.
Dude, says the guy with the camera.
You want me to put the camera down?
Look, both the cameras are on us.
What do you got? When she came out, so she didn't come back.
I don't know. You guys want to see if we can see the full video?
What do you think?
It's from
Somebody treat you like that?
Emma Gazette Press on YouTube. Oh, there it is. Fuck.
That's a little rough. What do you think?
Let's pull it up on actual YouTube.
What do you think?
Can we ask you guys what you're doing?
Sure. Just making a video about the businesses here.
That's a really weird thing for you to say.
I'm just trying to keep up with you.
Oh, well, let's see myself on YouTube.
Yes. Yeah, sure. You're the most exciting thing that happened today.
Oh, am I?
Hi, Diana.
And the only reason why we know you're here,
right.
you're going to love this.
Okay.
Is my wife got a group chat.
How are you, man?
spoke to some young lady that was dealing with a child earlier. He came up and told her to calm down and
Oh, okay.
This is just a preview. We'll get there.
none of your business what she's doing. It's my kid. Your kid.
This is my son right here.
Yeah. And you never once had a hard time. You filming?
What does child abuse have to do with do you have kids? Well, if you had kids, you'd slam them too. What?
How's it going, guys? I'm Agansett Press, and we are coming to you today from 8,000 feet up in the Colorado Rockies in a little town called Vail. Let's take a look.
This is Dr. J territory.
No, it's fine.
Javier, where are we at?
Thank you so much.
Covered in cobwebs. Thank you.
Pay attention to the baby in the stroller. Oh, there's the baby. He's trying to stand up and see. If you, oh my God, if you don't want your baby doing that, put the straps on.
I think we keep going. She came out and she came back.
Damn.
She came back. She came back. What?
Does she call it child? It sounds like she says, child, stop.
Oh, I think I got it too. Yeah, I did.
She's still doing it. Look.
Holy shit. Wow. That's a little rough. Don't you think? Somebody treat you like that? That's obnoxious.
Her husband later decides it'd be a good idea to track us down and confront us. Stay tuned.
Just picked that kid up 3 times and slammed him in the stroller. Yeah. I used to complain about my mother. I'm going to stop.
So, it looks like they're moving on.
Well, I guess nobody's going to be going in or out now.
No, not now.
No, I was going to try to catch somebody going in or out.
I'm sorry. I got to go to the bathroom real quick, but I'll be right back.
Well, when nature calls, man, I know how it is.
I know. If I had a bathroom, I wish I had a bathroom in there.
Right on. Well, okay. That's it? Yeah.
You're really missing.
Are we skipping around?
Don't say anything.
I appreciate it.
Close.
Oh, my goodness.
You know,
Even with the you're really missing the good pictures of the ladies walking around with all there was not too much clothes.
Oh, my goodness.
you know what? I'll tell you something. I'm surprised that you said. Because at my age, I'd rather have a talking frog.
What? Did you take a picture? Don't say anything.
I appreciate you, man. Can I give you a call?
Wow, what a creep. You're really seeing a lot of missing the good pictures of the ladies walking around with hardly nothing on. If you take a picture and don't say anything, they don't know.
My time has come and gone.
Creep.
That's it. And take him to get the taller ones.
Oh, he gets them all. He gets all. I get nothing these days. Nothing.
All right, thank you. Save it too.
My time has come and gone. Take it easy, gentlemen.
Hey guys.
I know.
Can we ask you guys what you're doing?
Sure. Just making a video about the businesses here.
Oh, okay. For what?
For YouTube.
Oh, okay. I don't know if is this hired as part of Vail, or are you guys are doing your own thing?
Just doing our own thing.
Cool. Oh, yeah. You guys say good things about the businesses?
Oh, I know. I leave that all up to the person that comes out representing the business.
Uh-oh, this is the best place.
Right on. There you go. Cool.
Wonderful. We have some like schemers, you know, so we're like, oh no, cameras at our high-end jewelry store is a little bit sus.
Oh, don't go right to that.
Okay.
Those guys that you have to worry about, you won't even know they were here. Okay? It's the sneaky ones you got to watch out for.
I don't know. You look kind of sneaky.
I am sneaky. I'm very sneaky.
So
But
tell us more about the mission.
Here, I'll give you a card. That'll probably
Great.
make it easier, right?
Okay, we're gonna bet you. Yes. I like the card. Okay. We're both a little apprehensive.
Oh, that's all right.
Continue.
No worries.
Continue.
I appreciate your smiling.
Have a good day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There you go. That's a good one.
Nice.
How you doing today? What's the
Why are you filming me? Oh, you guys are the rude guys.
How you doing?
You guys are the rude guys. Everyone.
I don't think I'd just walk up to him and be like, why are you filming me? Why are you filming me? But I feel like I'd also get sucked into an altercation with him so easily. Like I have a love-hate relationship with him.
That's a shame. About who? What? You been out aggravating people today? Is that what you said?
Yeah, carry on.
Thank you. I will.
You guys are making a video. That's all.
I told you.
You just said you're making a video about Vail.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah, carry on.
Thank you. How's it going, man?
Good. I'm Bill.
Right on. Nice to meet you, Bill.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
How's the filming going today?
Going good, man.
It's
Nice.
Sergeant Abby.
Hey, how you doing, Sergeant? Right on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But so yeah, we just came out here. They called because you made them uncomfortable, but I told them you're not.
You know, and I wondered what happened to them because they came out, asked us what we were doing. I gave her a business card, told her what I was doing. Here, I'll give you a card. That'll probably make it easier, right?
Continue.
I appreciate your smiling.
Have a good day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. They went inside, and all of a sudden they disappeared.
Yeah. So.
And then they called you.
Yeah.
So you set them straight.
Well, I don't know.
She even said continue.
I mean, gave them the good information.
Yeah.
And then called the cops.
Let them know that you guys are allowed to do that. You're in a public place.
Cool. I don't know why they have to throw in that we're trying to annoy anybody. I think they just want to get you to watch. I got to give you a card, man. I'm really not, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to see the dads come back.
Am I?
All I'm really looking for.
First name?
Brandon.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Diana.
Hi, Diana.
And the only reason why we know you're here,
Right.
you're gonna love this.
Okay.
Is my wife got a group chat.
For a store, you know, the managers.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
I'm out of breath. We were like trying to find you.
On Facebook?
No.
So now you get a WhatsApp.
I got you.
Yeah.
So they sent out like the APB?
Like, hey.
Yes, an APV. These guys are just trying to.
Was it the jewelry store? Yeah, you know what's the funniest thing? We went to the jewelry store. She came out, asked me what I'm doing. I gave her a business card, told her what I was doing. She said, oh, I guess that's okay. Laughing.
I mean, even if they do think they're casing the joint, so you just can't restrict anybody from filming in public.
It's not just a company, and she wanted. I mean, you know,
brother.
Gentlemen faces.
So evidently the WhatsApp is buzzing about us, and the jewelry.
They really freak out at banks. Like bank cashiers are like call their husbands and have them come in there and cuss them out, try to fight them and shit from filming from the sidewalk.
Store who I gave the
like what security information are you getting from the fucking sidewalk about robbing a bank?
Let's go, bud.
And who still fucking robs banks? You know, they treat it like it's a Wild West or some shit.
All right.
I'd like to try some honey while you're here.
Nah, you know.
We do have a couple of the honeycombs that are not from Colorado. Awesome.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love it, y'all.
Where are you from?
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge. Nice. Been there.
Was it? Hold on. We leave Monday.
First name?
Chris.
Wait, I saw him.
Yep, right on. That's cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, awesome.
This guy. There he is. See him walk by.
Nice. Yeah, enjoying yourselves? Yeah, cool.
Had a great time, man.
Maybe he's casing the place.
Say, we got here, and it was, hold on, we got here, and it was 48.
Yep.
I looked on my phone, and it was real field 106 in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, and humid.
Oh, you can cut it with a knife.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, right on. Well, I'm glad you're here. Having a good time, man.
Love what y'all do.
Got a good dad there. Right on, brother. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you. Hey, thanks for the honey, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, don't listen to anything they say on WhatsApp. It's nonsense. Nonsense. Have a good day, brother.
I brought a friend.
WhatsApp group chat.
Oh, I know.
Guy in the black shirt is now standing behind us staring at me.
Oh, yeah? You're from Louisiana. Your uncle's from Louisiana. Right on.
From Tennessee.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Nice.
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana. Was he on YouTube?
Yeah.
And am I on YouTube? Oh, yeah, I want to be too. Hi.
Right on.
All right. If any of my friends are watching this, hi.
Great to meet you, man. What's your first name?
Judah.
Judah. Pleasure to meet you, boss.
Jude, bro.
Jude. Jude. There you go. Right on. Like Hey Jude, the Beatles song.
Yeah.
Right on, brother. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you. Making a video for YouTube.
YouTube?
Can I give you a card?
Sure.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Did I win?
What'd you win?
I don't know. The staring contest.
No, you didn't win.
I didn't win?
No.
Well, here. See if I raise my chance.
Asked him if I won the staring contest. That got him engaged. Here we go.
Here's the issue. You spoke to some young lady that was dealing with a child earlier.
Spoke to a young lady who was dealing with a child.
Yeah. You came up and told her to, calm down and.
Oh, okay. The one that slammed the child into the stroller.
Well, I don't think she slammed.
Oh, it's on video. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe you should keep your opinions to yourself, is my point.
Now, the husband comes running in, or father, or whatever.
No, I don't keep my opinions to myself. What kind of shit is that? Keep my opinion to myself. Yeah. I'm older than you.
None of your fucking business what she's doing is the point.
Well, if she wants to do it in public, it is my business. Yes, it is. And you're going to defend that shit? I hope it's not your kid.
It's my kid.
Oh, good. Well, you shouldn't be defending that shit either.
Yeah, I can.
You really should.
Kids?
You should have just left well enough alone.
You have kids.
Here's my son right here.
Yeah, and you never once had a hard time. You filming everything?
Never once had a hard time with your kid. That doesn't give you the right to slam a baby, dude. The baby's trying to stand up. That's what it should be trying to do. Gross motor skills. You know what I mean?
I never once hit my kid.
Stand, sit, grab.
And I would put an end to it if I was you. Don't try to take it out on the guy with the camera.
Film everything.
Yeah, I do film everything.
Protect yourself. Smart.
What is that, a threat? No. I'm standing right here, tough guy. Knock yourself out.
No, I'm shit. Yeah, he's a shit show. Yeah. Is this what these guys do? What they go around shit shows? Yeah.
Looking for a reaction.
Thank you. Leave it alone. You just heard it. Yep, no, I heard it.
Yeah, do what the guy says. You just heard it. Follow orders, bro. What are you shaking about? You should be that upset that she slammed that fucking kid into a stroller 3 times. Not upset with me. Get a grip on yourself, seriously.
Here we go.
What's going on, man?
He was just talking shit about them filming. Now, here we go.
Put your ego aside. Worry about that little kid. That's what you should be worried about. Not me.
He does kind of look like fat Tom Segura.
Yeah, tough guy. Huffing and puffing with your big breathing.
Tom Segura is skinny now, and he's divorcing his wife. That's what happens when fat guys kind of marry out of their league. They get skinny and then leave their wives. It's weird.
Down the road, bro. Nobody's afraid of you.
Dude, says the guy with the camera.
You want me to put the camera down?
Look, the cameras are on us.
What do you got?
What do I got?
Yeah.
Take a swing. See what I got.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to take a swing. You go first.
I would never go first.
You go first, and then I'll drop your ass. How about that?
Yeah, I know. He's
exactly. So don't be, don't be like, don't be.
In all honesty, man, you really should be worried about what went on.
He's going to go try to ask the business to run him off.
You believe in this bullshit. You're a professional fucking agitator is what you are. Yeah, with that big shit-eating grin. That's great. Yeah, real good look for your business.
That guy earlier didn't like being filmed in this business down here.
Where were you? Davidor. This is the representation of Davidor.
Yeah, pretty good looking.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
You think you're good looking, dude? I didn't even have to try with you. I didn't even have to try, man. You're just looking for a reason to get upset. Channel's called Go Fuck Yourself. How about that?
You do what you say. Channel's called Go Fuck Yourself.
It is. Yep. That's the name of it.
I don't know, man. You guys would have come a different way about it. This guy's just here.
guys are clowns. Absolute clowns. Little kids getting abused in the middle of the street. You're worried about somebody taking pictures. Yeah, keep shaking, bro. Take a deep breath.
Yeah, I'm shaking.
Go get one of those cans of oxygen and like straighten your brain out.
I already told him this is your stomping ground.
Be all right. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's a game.
Dr. J's like, I remember when I abused my child there.
Yeah, it's a game.
I know how it is.
Well, retailers around here have tried to get rid of them, and they said they're not really doing anything illegal. They just try to bait you into things so that they get you in trouble. It's like a lawyer.
Is that what your wife was doing? Beating your child up so she could bait me into something?
Yeah. This is what these guys do. It's a game.
For work?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe I'll just report. Maybe, you know what I'll do? Maybe I'll just file a report with the police about it. Please. Yeah, I think I will.
Call the police. Yeah.
I think I will. Yeah, I think I will.
Police on the doctor. Please.
You're a doctor? What the hell does that mean? Who cares? What does that mean? Doctor.
She's a doctor. That person's a doctor.
The shit out of her kids too.
He's talking about you.
Yeah, you really do. Go away. Follow orders. Bye-bye. See you later. Toodaloo, man. Off you go. Carry on. Bye-bye. Go have a drink and calm down.
These guys have called the police who are now on their way.
We make videos for YouTube. I'll give you a card.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see if I got two of them in there.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we're just basically walking around Vail and life as it happens.
I do like his approach better than most of them, where they won't tell you what they're doing or give you like limited information, almost sound sketchier, right? Like, oh, just filming. Who do you work for? The press. What press? That's private. Like those people. Hey, this guy's like, hey, here's a card. We make videos for YouTube.
See what's good and talk to people. And, No. New York. Complete opposite of Vail. You're from what part of
Awesome, Steph.
Fresno?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Central Valley.
We were just in San Diego not long ago.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see Dr. J moonwalking in the background.
I think it's awesome, too.
Wearing her shadow merch.
Can't be beat. Yeah, for sure. Enjoy your day. Huh? Oh, good. Here I am. I'm looking for them. Oh, there he is. Well, there you go. Oh, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Well, it's not even that. It goes beyond that. People just make shit up and start problems and then want to blame it on the terrible camera guys because everybody will believe it. You know who we are? Yeah. I was going to give you a card.
All right, I'm going to go. You guys keep going.
Thank you.
How we doing?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
You too.
Huh. Wow.
As soon as we all walked up, everybody leaves. So who's doing something wrong? Right? Oh, that's great, bro. Can I take a picture of that?
Yeah, sure.
You mind? That's awesome. I'll give you one of my cards. You can find it.
Yeah, that's okay.
That on the wet paint sign.
Thanks.
Yeah. It doesn't have my Insta on there, but it's the same name.
All right. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, you know?
This is it. Walk around, talk to people. Yeah, we have a lot of good times with people. Some people get mad at us for filming them and they call the cops and stupidity, man. It's exciting stuff, you know? Yeah, you'll enjoy.
Have you been in Mexico? Yeah. Where?
Right.
I'm from Chihuahua.
Okay.
We are 4 hours away from the border. Yeah, but it's not.
It's a whole different Mexico. Yeah, for sure. No, I like your part better.
Yeah.
Trump did do a speech tonight. We need to watch.
Mexico and a little bit in the north, but not too much.
Right on. Yeah.
It was all about, he said that declassified documents show that our elections are vulnerable to cheating and all that bullshit.
Well, very cool, man. I appreciate you. I'm hoping you have a good time here in Vail.
Yeah,
What's your first name?
Fernando.
They haven't been able to prove it a single fucking time, but in his mind, it's as real as the fucking water is wet.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Jason.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, bud.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye-bye. What's the filming is for what?
Oh, make YouTube videos.
I'm sorry?
Make YouTube videos.
Yeah. Could you not film us, please? Thank you. I know, but...
Sir, can I give you a business card?
I do a really good feature.
Oh, here you go. We make travel videos for YouTube. So we just go business to business, talk to people, give people a chance to promote their business. Some people don't like cameras, so they get upset. You know, it is what it is. Life as it happens. But you gentlemen, I appreciate you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, guys.
I'm thinking about watching this Dre Dossier breakdown of it
catch you on the way
instead
back.
of watching him.
Thank you, bro. Right on. Hey, guys.
They do look very bougie, and the guy that was give him a hard time from the clothing store or whatever, he's probably fucking wearing $5,000 pants or what. You know, you see the way he's dressed.
Here's a card for you. Oh, cool.
They do look bougie. He looks very waxed.
No, Oh my God, man. No. Somebody got upset that we were filming.
How do I get my head to shine like that? Like even right after I shave my head, it doesn't shine like that. You really wax their heads?
People, I always say to people, you carry this thing around long enough, somebody's gonna get upset about it. Right. So then evidently,
mine kind of looks more like fucking leather or some shit. It doesn't look. It's not glossy.
There was like some WhatsApp thing going out among the businesses, telling everybody not to talk to us because we're horrible guys and we're just like.
You guys are so horrible.
I try to be.
I want you to crawl up into your crick cave, you know.
I know, man. I deserve every bit of it.
I thought you guys were doing it for like.
I don't think the other guys come back that I'm interested in.
We'll be back.
All right, before we go to this video, let me start and pause it.
Okay.
Let's go here. Susan Collins.
As we know, there was that murder that ICE just committed up in Maine, and they've circled the wagons and whisked away the folks who were doing it. And now Susan Collins is left holding the football.
There's no doubt that ICE needs to improve its performance, but
I mean, no, I get a close shave, like to where it's fucking slick. It doesn't get shiny. I see all these people with like the lights bouncing off of it. I don't know.
those who are calling for ICE to be abolished altogether are ignoring absolutely vital safety work that ICE does.
Are we missing it? The vital safety work that ICE does, they're missing it. So
it's only slick for like a day, of course. It's almost like 5 o'clock shadow. It gets comes back pretty quick. But when I first get out, it's fucking slick.
It's her stance. Because apparently she is acting like she cares or is concerned about the murderous activities of these agents who are untrained and are ready to kill at a moment's notice. But at the same time, we're supposed to recognize the work that they're doing. What kind of work are they doing? Let's ask someone else who also might know. This is Harris District Attorney Sean Tier. He was on CBS News, and he was talking about the important work that ICE is doing, except he noticed something about the way that they do their work.
I taught for over 10 years at the Houston Police Department Academy. I have worked in law enforcement for almost 20 years. I can tell you that the tactics that every law enforcement agency I've ever worked with regarding felony stops and stops with cars in no way resemble what ICE is doing day in and day out. It appears from everything we've seen that either these agents are completely untrained or intentionally putting themselves in situations where they can justify firing into cars.
Do you think one of the reasons behind these very dangerous situations that ICE is finding itself in and the fatal shootings is the fact that there's a lot of pressure on them to carry out a certain number of deportations of arrest, and they're doing
his hairline makes me uncomfortable.
Doing that by any means necessary?
I can tell you that in 20 years of law enforcement, quotas for officers never work. They don't work when you're talking about traffic tickets. They certainly don't work when you're talking about arresting people based on effectively what they look like. So, yeah, I think that it absolutely is contributing to what we're dealing with.
I don't know how that works. People who know what they're talking about can identify how this rogue organization of Gestapo members roaming the streets and murdering people, not following any kind of normal law and order procedures, and then just rolls off after they kill these folks and expects protection. Somehow people who have worked in this know that that's wrong, and that their tactics would actually increase these situations where they can have some kind of a claim of being run over. But we know that's the same excuse that they keep giving every time. Here's one of those situations.
They're trying to box me in. They box me in, guys. They're trying to intimidate me. Don't shoot me! Don't shoot me, guys. Look, they're trying to shoot me. Guys, they're trying to shoot me, guys. Look, they're trying to draw guns on me. Guys, they're trying to... Guys, help me, guys. Stop! You're scaring me! I am a citizen! I'm a citizen! I'm a citizen! I'm a citizen!
This happened 6 months ago. You see how he never, ever took his hand off of the trigger. I put my car in park the moment I realized they were boxing me in. They knew I was alone. They knew I was a citizen. And now they are killing my people.
So one of those tactics that the man was talking about there was how they make sure they box folks in, they come aggressive, guns drawn, scare someone because she started...
That's just for following them around.
Mom gets scared because maybe there's the last few moments of her life. And sometimes when people panic, they go to driving away so they won't die. Because there's been people who didn't drive away and they died. It's weird how this works. So once someone notices that and tries to save their own life because these guys are screaming from both sides of the car, masked individuals who haven't said anything about why they're pulling them over.
A lot of times they're screaming conflicting orders or you can't understand them.
Not actually pulling them over, but instead...
People are screaming go, other people are saying get out. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like that lady that was going to the doctor's appointment. One guy was telling her to go. The other guy was trying to fucking drag her out. Like it was crazy.
Using these gang-like tactics of slamming in front of their car.
I was in
jumping out and screaming at them. And so the response must be, let me get the hell out of here.
Minnesota.
That's what humans do to preserve their lives. And when they do it, that's when they get to shooting and claiming that they were almost getting run over. Because there's a tactic involved with the objective of murder. So really fast, back to Susan Collins and her predicament. I'm not sure if she was inside this office. I assume that she wasn't. But still, these protesters were outside of that office. Beating on that window, damn. It's weird. I'm sure they'll say things like, look at the violent protesters outside of Susan Collins' office, beating on the window and chanting that they should vote her out. But we'll say nothing about the masked agents running up on people's cars with their guns drawn, saying, get the F out of there or else I'm gonna murder you. Get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. I feel like we're not gonna notice those two things. Let me show you guys.
Did you guys know that there was an attempt on Scott Bessent's life, an assassination attempt? Because I didn't. And the reason we never heard about it is because it was like the worst assassination attempt ever. So a guy shows up at the Capitol on the day that Scott Bessent is supposed to be confirmed by Congress, or there's like a hearing to have him confirmed. He walks over to a Capitol police officer and says, I'd like to turn myself in. I have 2 airplane bottles of vodka with rags stuffed in them to make Molotov cocktails and a pocket knife, and I'm here to kill the presidential nominee, Scott Bessent. And they said they found a note in his pockets that he left for his roommate apologizing for trying to kill Scott Bessent. Why the fuck would it be on him? Why wouldn't he have left it in his, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't he have left it where the roommate is? very weird, but he brought that up in a press conference about, if you're trying to tell me that left-wing violence isn't real, I'd like to remind you there's an assassination attempt on my life right before I was nominated or confirmed.
A little bit of how Susan Collins tried to reiterate her position of somehow playing the middle ground on this whole thing. Trust me, I'm not going to read this whole thing. She points out here, again, specifically about this case, an impartial investigation into the shooting of in the Bedford needs to proceed, as the details surrounding this tragedy are important. It's extremely unfortunate that the agent involved did not have a body-worn camera. It's just what it is. It's extremely
crazy, unfortunate.
She says. Also, she points out that in April, measures that she authored in the Homeland Security Funding Bill became law, including $20 million for expanding use of body-worn cameras, $2 million for de-escalation training, and a 17% increase in the Independent Office of Inspector General's budget to investigate matters like this shooting. Weird. So she said, she did all this work. She supported more funding for ICE, specifically $20 million so they could have some body-worn cameras, which oddly, in this shooting and also the one last week in Houston where they murdered another innocent man, completely unarmed, that they boxed in and then murdered and then gave a fake story behind, they didn't have a body cam in that one either. If nothing else, you would think that they want to prove their case by showing off the body cam footage that's going to make everyone go, oh, that's right. You guys actually were almost getting run over by a vicious, bloodthirsty, dirty immigrant that was trying to kill you, because that's what they keep saying. So since we're not getting that, we just have to go off what is it that they're saying. At what point is Susan Collins going to get upset about how all these measures that she keeps putting into place don't pan out into the results that she wants? Because there's been no de-escalation training. They're escalating events. Matter of fact, the training looks like it's become to them creating more hostile situations that they can murder someone in and then say that they were defending themselves, because, you know, that's how murderers think. And what about those body cameras? Where's that $20 million gone to? Who else's pockets did it fill? I mean, Tom Homan's pockets already had $50K in it before he even got into the position.
ICE agents not wearing body cameras in Houston or in Maine during these two incidents.
When the Democrats shut down the Department of Homeland Security, I was up on the Hill, part of the negotiating team to reopen the government, and they wanted body cameras. There was $120 million in the budget they were holding up to buy the body cameras. Now, since the big, beautiful bill passed, now the reconciliation bill, the body cameras have been ordered. There's a deployment schedule on the books, and right now they're just trained to train. So officers in each field office can train their officers on the use of the body cam. So,
but don't you see that to be extremely urgent, given right now we do not have video of these situations beyond witnesses?
As soon as they had funding, they bought them.
But it's been 2 months since April.
Would have been a lot quicker.
No answer. Just, $20 million. It should be sooner. There's no answer as to why they haven't done this. Outside, they don't want to. And you see him rocking back and forth. I'm gonna show you guys how he was moving. I'm no body, motion expert or whatever they say, body detection expert of how they're moving and what it means. But I do know that Tom Homan could not stay still, rocking back and forth as he lied his dumb ass off. I don't know if it's like a nervous tick. I don't know if it's just like an indication of how he moves. But for sure, this guy is defiant about the wasting of $20 million that's supposed to be apparently for their protection that they're just not doing. And Susan Collins, I'm sure next week will have another statement where she says, I'm very highly, unfortunately,
the cameras are in the mail, guys.
In the way that they've gone about lying to me. Or maybe she's not.
All right. Let's see what Dre Dossier said. This is a live stream, so I have to skip around. It's over an hour long.
Hey. Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing? We're just, not that we're gonna, this guy talks forever. I have the live stream pulled up on the white lights. Oh, shoot. All right, we'll do the thing after. All right, let's put it. Presents. Gabby, can we get... Gabby. We'll play it on yours. Just keep it to counteract Trump's. There we go. That will make me small, guy.
Millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be
Can you
no
guys hear me when I talk
greatness.
like this, or no?
No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure. One where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short.
Very, very shortly.
We're going to do a breakdown at the end of this, because
declassification and release of
there's a lot
critical intelligence,
to unpack here, so everyone be
revealing
patient.
shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure.
There was.
A breakdown at the end of this, because
Declassification and release of
declassification and release of documents revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election system. If there were really these vulnerabilities, they shouldn't have declassified them and shouldn't have released them. They should have took them to somebody able to handle the classified documents and fix them, instead of making them a campaign thing to where when you all lose midterms, you can bring it up and be like, I told you it was stolen.
There's a lot to unpack.
That's how I lost in 2020.
revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes and really...
By the way, this is the press conference where he was supposed to announce that the congressmen from Georgia were invalid, but he backed way off that when it hit the press, and it did not go his way.
Exposes like levels never thought possible. The hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you. The American people are beautiful, are great American people, but that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings we are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise.
Oh, it just started in 2020, by the way.
Of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage.
Can I just say, not that I want to, take words away from him, but according to his own declassified documents from 2021, that his own first-term appointees had found with high confidence no foreign actor touched any part of the vote, registration, ballots, tabulation results, any of it from China. So just keep that in mind.
The second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister.
I'm going to open some of these. Hold on. I have to extract them. Give me just a second. Let's see what we got here. This is the one on Venezuela. Blank intelligence community reporting from 2004 to 2020 documented persistent concerns about Venezuelan government manipulation of electronic voting systems and the potential national security implications for U.S. election infrastructure. The intelligence established that Venezuelan government officials developed sustained interest and likely some capability in manipulating electronic voting systems, including Smartmatic technology, to influence electoral outcomes in Venezuela. The 2006 intelligence community assessment that Smartmatic's ties to Venezuela pose a national security threat was based on solid intelligence regarding Venezuelan government intent to influence U.S. politics and evidence of Venezuelan manipulation in their own electoral systems. This assessment led to the U.S. government action forcing Smartmatic to divest its U.S. operations in 2007. Okay. Blank reporting indicated that the electronic voting systems contain vulnerabilities that could theoretically be exploited by sophisticated actors with inside access. However, while the intelligence validated significant concerns about foreign-linked voting technology vendors, it did not definitively confirm that any large-scale electronic fraud was successfully executed in specific Venezuelan elections, with CIA's baseline assessments maintaining that other factors better explain electoral outcomes. The reporting on advanced techniques like blank provided concerning insight into alleged Venezuelan government capabilities and intent, but came from limited sourcing. So this is about Venezuelan manipulation. We forced them to divest U.S. operations in 2007, and nothing's happened. They can't find any information. So, all right. CIA wire memo. Oh, God. It's half redacted. China is probing the presidential campaign for opportunities to tailor collection and gather insight on policy positions on U.S.-Chinese issues. That seems like, yeah, they would be, right? Why wouldn't they be gathering information on what the voters want versus what the candidates are saying about U.S.-China relations and issues? U.S. policy on China is a longstanding high collection priority for Beijing, and Chinese cyber actors have conducted such activity in every U.S. presidential election campaign since 2008, according to Blank. Since 2018, Chinese cyber actors known in the private sector as APT-31 have targeted the personal email accounts of senior U.S. leadership, including officials in the executive office of the president and high-ranking officials in multiple executive branch organizations, Congress, and the federal judiciary. Since 2017, a separate Blank has worked with the Blank to enable more stealthy operations by identifying email addresses of high-level U.S. officials, then requesting that Blank obtain or crack the passwords for targeted accounts. I think we all kind of knew this. China's trying to fucking fish in emails, but okay. As the 2020 election approaches, the IC has detected Chinese state-sponsored cyber actors targeting the former vice president's presidential campaign, probably to gather intelligence that could enable future operations. The first instance this election cycle that we have seen them directly targeting a U.S. presidential campaign. China has also conducted cyber espionage against other U.S. election-related entities. This is against Joe Biden. As the 2020 election approaches, the intelligence community has detected Chinese state-sponsored actors targeting the former vice president's presidential campaign. This is about, they were targeting Joe Biden. The IC assesses that China does not currently intend to covertly interfere or try to sway the outcome of the election, although this activity could enable such operations if Beijing made a decision to do so. As of 20 May, Apartment 31 actors had sent spear phishing emails containing tracking links to the Gmail accounts of staffers associated with the presidential campaign blank. On June 4th, Google announced that Apartment 31 was targeting the campaign. Google and the FBI both briefed campaign officials on the Chinese cyber operation shortly after discovering the new activity. Google officials have publicly stated that the spear phishing attempts were unsuccessful. During the past year, Chinese cyber attack actors have collected U.S. election-related information from U.S. voter databases, a polling data company, political and nonprofit organizations, fundraisers, and advisory organizations for political campaigns. This seems like all shit that we already knew, and they're not changing the outcome of the vote. CISA, election report final. They meant open. Okay. From around 2019 to 2024, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, conducted a set of technical operation activities to evaluate the security of U.S. election systems. These activities all carried out upon the request of the system owners and operators, including direct examination of election-related software, penetration testing of state, local, tribal, and territorial SLTT networks, and incident response operations for intrusions into election systems. Through these activities, CISA developed a strong understanding of the vulnerabilities that, at the time of testing, affected select election-related software, products, and network environments evaluated by CISA. In every software product or election-related network in which CISA identified a vulnerability, CISA notified the owner or operator of the vulnerable product or network and encouraged them to mitigate the vulnerability. Sounds like that's how it's supposed to work. CISA's findings highlight the reality that election-related software, like all complex software, contains vulnerabilities that require timely remediation. While past partnerships with election vendors enabled early identification of security weaknesses prior to product release, structural constraints in the certification ecosystem significantly limit vendors' abilities to patch systems quickly. For example, some government election systems certification regimes require that require that no patches be applied for months before an election. These limitations, combined with inconsistent vulnerability disclosure practices, result in election systems being deployed with known unpatched security issues. Well, if that's the law, that you can't touch the computer within, 90 days of an election, it sounds like that's a law problem. Beyond software quality, CISA's assessments repeatedly show that IT networks operated by SLTT election offices lack cybersecurity hygiene. Many election vendor threat models assume strong network segmentation and isolation of election systems. However, in practice, election infrastructure is often accessible from general enterprise networks, creating opportunities for lateral movement by adversaries who compromise email systems, user workstations, or other information technology IT assets. Weak identity management, limited logging, and insufficient segmentation exacerbate the risk that a cyber threat actor could access or disrupt mission-critical election IT components. This, again, would not change the outcome. Let's say for an instance, that a bad actor got into such and such county in fucking Texas. All right? They're not going to be able to change Texas's vote, right? They might be able to fuck with the county that they're in, but because it's so segmented and separated, it's not like there's a Texas state system that they go in there and they just change the fucking votes for. You know what I mean? Overall, the security of U.S. elections is shaped by the interaction with three major factors. One, software vulnerability and management constrained by outdated certification regimens, inconsistent transparency from election system vendors on vulnerabilities and patch status. Three, the cybersecurity immaturity of many SLTT networks responsible for hosting election systems. Addressing these challenges requires coordinated action across technical, policy, and regulatory domains. This report provides detailed analysis and proposed targeted recommendations to strengthen election infrastructure security and enhance public trust in the resilience of the nation's elections infrastructure. I think this is a big, this is his big push saying, oh, anybody could hack it at any time, which is a lie. Of course, there's going to be things like always improvements, and we need to reevaluate, we need to change, we need to patch, we need to update constantly with any software. But Trump's trying to use this as it could be hacked at any time, and they cheated me out of the 2020, so now we have to pass the SAVE Act. Okay. Let's see what else we got. That was Caesar, right? Email everyone's favorite topic. Oh, am I still in the... I guess I am. Sorry, that was the folder that I haven't unzipped yet. Let me close that one so I don't keep opening it. This says email everybody's favorite topic. Thursday, December 23rd of 2021. Take a minute to read through this report. It cites some of the same intel and logic used in 2020 to say that these same units were not engaged in election influence, but were instead only issue focused. Now argue that China is influencing the blank election, the original influence, focus on issues, etc. They literally cite as support for their argument some of the same reporting used in the mainline assessment in our minority report. For example, they cite blank activity as being the Chinese military, even though in 2020 the IC said we didn't know who it was. This report describes the same unit that blank and I said were influencing the U.S. 2020 election and now characterizes it as an election influence unit and attributes it to the Chinese government. I think they're talking about that Apartment 31. That's a weird coincidence, and one we should highlight for oversight, FBI and blank, a big blank. We should consider how this looks on what logical nonpartisan basis the IC makes calls one way or the other. Why is this unit engaged in election influence in the blank and blank to promote China's interest? But when they do it here, it's issue influence. But somehow, not election related, it's the same personnel doing the same kind of activity. No, it's not. First of all, like, they could be very concerned. Like, no one says this about Israel, right? When Israel's throwing all kinds of fucking money and doing this and talking to politicians and Netanyahu's giving lap dances or what the fuck ever, no one says, oh, that's election interference. They can be very influential in their U.S.-Chinese relations and also not be election interference, right? That we have to draw a line somewhere or no one would ever be able to advocate for anything. Why did they redact the date? I don't know. Dumb. All right, another email. We're going to read them all, I guess, while we're here. Or at least the highlights of them. ICA comments, hi, blank. Forwarding these comments from FBI for your awareness. They had previously told me that Director Wray signed off on the ICA text, and the only changes since then have been downgrades of blank reporting and the DNI's minor initial edits. Most of this we've been over numerous times already, so it's not clear to me if they're backtracking or just commenting for the record. Director of Election Threat Analysis, National Intelligence Council, DNI Election Threat Executive. Nikki Flores, Goritz, Tanya, FBI, US Gov, classification blank. Hi, blank. Couple of thoughts on the updated ICA draft, all of which center on the minority view and some of which you have previously heard from the FBI team. Generally speaking, while we are fine with the inclusion of the minority view text box. Oh, this is where they were. Oh, I don't know if you guys remember this, but remember they put out this, if they wanted this minority view that said, like, we don't know how much interference Russia actually had in the election, but the majority view was like, hey, they're all working together and this is all backdoor, blah, blah, blah. We firmly believe the analysis in said text box must comport to the same analytic standards as the rest of the ICA. This was the big Tulsi Gabbard release this and Obama's going to prison forever kind of deal. You guys remember that? That's what this is about. There was a majority opinion, and then there was like a couple people that are like, we don't know if it went this far or not, or if there was like, this back and forth, but they did do something trying to influence the election. We just don't know the extent of which. This is an absolute red line for the FBI. Additionally, we do not support the inclusion of the minority view in the KJs without proper context and source descriptions. The minority view is given parity to the ICA assessments. Below are some more specific points. In the first para, the NIO notes that China's leaders also intended some of Beijing's efforts to indirectly affect U.S. candidates, etc. The IC has repeatedly stated, based on a body of intelligence, there is no evidence of said intention, though we note there was an awareness of this potential effect. To state this as bluntly as the NIO does, without evidence to support this claim, is extremely misleading. So, China's leaders intended some of Beijing's efforts to indirectly affect U.S. candidates. Did they? You know, based on the body of intelligence, there's no evidence that they intended this. They might have just been doing this, but how do we know they intended this to affect the candidates? In the second para, the NIO notes he gives move weight to several clandestine and liaison reports without any sort of source description whatsoever. By minimizing the source descriptions, clandestine reporting from U.S. or liaison sources of dubious credibility, poorly identified sourcing chains, and minimal track records of reporting is given, the same way as signals intelligence of identified senior Chinese diplomatic and intelligence figures, as well as clandestine reporting of decision-making in Beijing from sources with established records of reporting that is generally reliable. So we have different levels of reliability in the people that they're reporting, and this person believes they're giving too much weight to some people that are not as reliable. In the last tick, the NIO says China may have also encouraged protests. There's no evidence of this in the reporting, and the citations associated with this tick certainly do not support this assessment. This is highly misleading and misrepresentation of the underlying reports. So this email that they released is like, hey, China didn't have all this influence that you claim they did. The final para is in the dissent argues that we have collection gaps on the entities that would probably execute influence operations. This point appears to acknowledge that IC collection demonstrated that China's leaders practiced restraint and did not intend to influence the outcome of the election, and instead focuses on where collection gaps might miss evidence of the execution of influence ops. This shift in focus by the NIO is inconsistent with earlier portions of the dissent argumentation and argues the U.S. collection did not find what China has actually done. As we said before, citing the absence of evidence is an absolute red line for us. I know China and Russia both are trying to influence protests and elections and voting. I don't want them changing people's votes, obviously. Thanks again for all the work on this blank. We will continue to stand by for any additional drafts, etc. On a more positive note, the Iran section edits are much improved, and we greatly appreciate you working with us on this. I'm out of the office tomorrow, but Cynthia is in. Should you need to reach out to anyone on the team, we'll be back in full force on Monday. Have a wonderful new year, Nikki. Dad, Nikki L. Flores, Counterintelligence Division. Next, Nika, Foreign Threats. Foreign Threats to 2020 U.S. federal elections. Scope. This is a downgraded version of a paper originally published 19 August 2020 and includes information current as of that date. This paper updates NICM 2020-32 and NICM 2020-33, which also address China's broader influence efforts. This paper does not make assessments about the impact of these efforts on the U.S. It also does not discuss efforts that the IC cannot attribute to foreign actors. Ahead of the 2020 U.S. elections, foreign states will continue to use covert and overt influence measures in their attempts to sway U.S. voters' preferences and perspectives, shift U.S. policies, increase discord in the United States, and undermine the American people's confidence in our democratic process. Foreign states and other actors may seek to compromise our election infrastructure for a range of possible purposes, such as interfering with the voting process, stealing sensitive data, or calling into question the validity of the election results, like Trump. We judge Russia, China, Iran, as well as many other non-state actors have the capability to conduct such activities, although it would be difficult for them to manipulate voting processes at scale without detection. Again, they're not changing the votes. We're primarily concerned about ongoing and potential influence activity by Russia, China, and Iran. We assess that Russia is using a range of measures primarily to denigrate former Vice President Biden and what it sees as an anti-Russian establishment. For example, it is directing or encouraging proxies to spread claims about Vice President Biden. Some Kremlin-linked actors are also seeking to boost President Trump's candidacy on social media. More broadly, Moscow's efforts seek to amplify social discord in the U.S. and undermine Washington's global standing. We assess that China prefers that Donald Trump be defeated. In the past few months, it has stepped up public rhetoric criticizing his administration, which it recognizes may affect the election. Although blank, Beijing did not intend to try to affect the election. Blank, online, blank influence, and collecting derogatory information about U.S. public officials. Blank, 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 blank. We also are monitoring for signs that other countries or non-state actors, such as criminal groups, are acting on the preferences for the election and attempting to covertly influence public opinion, disrupt election operations, or jeopardize election data with tactics such as the use of ransomware. Election influence includes overt and covert influence activities of foreign governments or actors serving as agents of or on behalf of foreign governments intended to directly or indirectly affect U.S. elections, including activities targeting candidates, political parties, voters, or their preferences or political processes. Election interference is a subset of election influence involving the technical aspects of the election, including activities targeting voter registrations, casting and counting ballots, and the reporting of results. So there's election influence, which is obviously influence, and then there's election interference. Election interference has to do with like blocking or hindering registration, casting, counting of ballots, or reporting of results. Influence is like, oh, there's a bot farm putting out all these memes about Hillary or whatever. Russia, blank, 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 blank. I bet all this was about Trump and his back and forth and all. Oh, God. President Putin and senior Russian officials are overseeing efforts by proxies, blank, to spread claims about former Vice President Biden as well as Ukrainian politicians and alleged Ukrainian influence in the 2016 U.S. election. These claims include that when the former vice president was in office, he engaged in criminal activity in his dealings in Ukraine and individuals tied to Ukrainian energy from firm Burisma. That's where the Burisma conspiracy came from. Durkak, Kilmanik, and other proxy actors affiliated with the Russian government are advancing such narratives with U.S. officials and other prominent persons as well as online, including through personal interactions and audio and documentary film releases via U.S. and Ukrainian media outlets. These figures are conspiring to intensify their efforts as the election approaches to orchestrate high-profile corruption scandal implicating the former Vice President Biden and the Democratic Party at the peak of the 2020 U.S. presidential campaign. Their aim is to defeat former Vice President and ensure the president's victory. Some of these proxy actors anticipate the Ukraine-themed narratives about Democratic corruption will play a... By the way, all this came out when Trump was still president. Why the fuck didn't he do something about it? This all came out when Biden was running to be elected the first time. That means Trump was in office. Will play Democratic narratives about Democratic corruption will play a decisive role in the election, and the U.S. persons are key to propagating these narratives. Blank, since our assessment in May, blank, Russia continues to use state media, social media, and other online media platforms to denigrate the former vice president, Democratic Party, and the U.S. political establishment, and to promote division in the country. This content has largely been favorable to the president, Trump, but on occasion, it criticizes his administration for policies that run counter to Russian interests. Russian actors have circulated narratives about voter fraud resulting from mail-in balloting and called some U.S. primary voting processes rigged by the Democratic Party, the same line that Trump is now spewing. Some Russian actors have shifted their focus from social media to online news sites. Since last year, the Lakta Internet Research, LIR, troll farm, Russia's former intelligence service, SVR, and the main directorate of the General Staff of the Russian Federation, GRU, have employed cadres of U.S. and other foreign authors to create anti-American and U.S.-focused political content on English-language news platforms, including United World International, blank, 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 blank. These groups leverage their U.S. contacts to seed their narratives more broadly in Western media, blank, blank, blank. We continue to assess that Russia's understanding of U.S. electoral dynamics and its assessment of who is likely to win will guide its calculus as the election approaches. Ongoing cyber operations could inform or fuel further influence efforts. For example, as of June 2020, blank I don't know that word, multiple state and local government websites. We do not know the purpose of this effort. In July, a commercial cybersecurity company believed blank may have targeted U.S. political organizations, probably unsuccessfully, though we cannot independently attribute the activity. Russia, for years, has targeted and collected information about current and former U.S. government officials, which it could leak to the public at any time. China. We assess that China prefers that the president, whom Beijing sees as unpredictable and tough on China, does not win re-election, although Beijing did not intend to try to affect the election. So they didn't want Trump to win, but they weren't trying to fuck with the election either. Whole bunch of blanks, online blank, influence, and collecting derogatory information about U.S. public officials. Whole bunch of blanks. China uses mostly enticements and occasionally coercion to extract more pro-China positions and to punish those whom Beijing views as opposed to China's interests. You'll see this when China pays an influencer to like fucking go to Beijing and talk about how cool it is and how nobody's poor because they bust them all out of there and get rid of them and hide them and pick up the trash and shit. Like, it's almost like North Korean levels of like behind the scenes production. It also employs disinformation and critical statements attacking the U.S. government's handling of COVID-19 pandemic and other issues such as the closure of the Houston consulate, Hong Kong, the legal status of South China Sea, and China's efforts to dominate the 5G market. Blank, a pro-China network of online accounts, posted video content critical of President Trump before it was deactivated by social media platforms. Blank, blank. We assess Beijing probably circulates that a concerted effort to blank influence the presidential election would blank backfiring and offer uncertain benefit, but blank also recognized blank critical statements might affect the race. Blank blank, a newspaper owned by the Chinese blank government, claimed that the economic measures Beijing could take against supporters of legislation and lawsuits seeking compensation from China over the COVID-19 pandemic may impact the U.S. state and congressional races. This is the first time we have observed Beijing issue a public warning that suggests it is willing to impose economic costs that could affect the U.S. elections. Blank blank, we judge that China will blank evaluate the implications of various electoral outcomes on its interests. If Beijing were to assess that the increasingly downward trajectory in U.S.-China relations threatened China's rise and could not be dealt with using existing tools, it might attempt to more directly thwart the president's re-election, including by leaking information blank blank or through online blank influence network. So apparently they had shit to leak on Trump. Beijing has expanded its cyber collection data related to the 2020 U.S. elections by carrying out opportunistic intrusions against U.S. private sector entities in effort to collect information on U.S. political candidates, campaigns, donors, voter data. Big blank. We assess that hostile actors could exploit internet-connected election infrastructure, such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other local election officials' websites because of its ease of access and comparative lack of security. These systems are designed for accessibility, commonly through web portals, making them vulnerable to a range of malicious cyber activities. A committed adversary could potentially use access to these systems to disrupt or sow doubts about our democratic election process, which they did, right? We assess that hostile actors could also manipulate systems that count or tabulate votes, such as voting machines, on a localized basis, but it probably would be difficult to coordinate a campaign or alter voting results on a wide scale. Post-election audits and paper trails also likely would uncover such efforts in nearly all U.S. states. Similarly, foreign actors would have difficulty coordinating a large-scale campaign to manipulate mail-in voting, and robust postal tracking probably would detect any large-scale effort. So again, they're not changing vote numbers. It's more about like convincing people to vote a certain way or maybe fucking with like registration and shit like that. Cybersecurity operations targeting the reporting of electronic tabulation results could delay reporting, but probably would not affect the integrity of certified results. Denial of service attacks would also delay public access to the results. Iran. Iran is conducting an influence campaign to undermine the current president and U.S. democratic institutions and to divide the country in advance of the 2020 elections. Tehran sees the current administration as promoting regime change in Iran. Blank blank, which they did. a view that increases the Iranian leadership's interest in trying to prevent the president's reelection. Iran's efforts probably will focus on online covert influence, such as spreading disinformation on social media and recirculating anti-U.S. content. Big blank. Blank, Supreme Leader, probably has authorized the influence campaign. These efforts focus largely on creating or amplifying social media content that criticizes the president and recirculating existing news reports, memes, and hashtags, Lego videos, focused on U.S. civil unrest, domestic protests for racial justice, mail-in voting, and the administration's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Bunch of blanks. Over the past 2 years, social media companies have removed thousands of Iranian origin inauthentic accounts, some with links to the Iranian government, that have shared information critical of both the current president and other presidential candidates, and that even impersonated a candidate in 2018. Tehran also uses these accounts to attempt to influence U.S. audience by promoting messages aligned with Iranian policies. Blank, blank. Tehran's links to some of these efforts. Blank. Iran could attempt to manipulate or attack election infrastructure as it has in elections in the Middle East and South Asia, but we do not have any information indicating that it intends to do so in the United States. It could also seek to collect and publicly release damaging information. Blank. In January, Iranian contract cyber actors tried to compromise a server associated with a U.S. business involved in election infrastructure. Blank, blank, blank. FBI worked with the company to remediate the problem. Blank. In June, Google announced that Iranian-linked cyber actors had unsuccessfully attempted to spearfish email accounts associated with campaign staffers working for the U.S. President Trump. Iran pursues such efforts in part to acquire derogatory information it could release publicly, as well as to inform its broader aims of weakening the U.S. and damaging its standing abroad. Other foreign actors, there's not going to be much of that, a range of them, but they just don't have the power. Believe that segments of the U.S. government have entrenched anti-Turkey viewpoint and as a result have sought to covertly influence U.S. politicians and political candidates. Thinking on Turkey, all right, we got that one down, I think. NICM, the China one. Making the case that China has taken some steps to influence the presidential election. This memorandum was prepared. It offers an alternative perspective. So this is the alternative. This is a minority view. An alternative perspective to the IC's assessment that China has not attempted. The NIO for cyber and the Director for Election Threat Analysis, DETA, assesses that Beijing has taken at least some low-level exploratory steps to undermine the president's re-election chances by denigrating him and shaping voter perceptions. Their assessment differs from the IC's judgment that Beijing has considered but not deployed influence efforts to affect the presidential election. NIO and DETA assess that Beijing's efforts probably have included overt messaging, nascent online covert influence capabilities, diplomatic measures, and the use of economic leverage. They assess that the efforts probably have not included the use of Beijing's most aggressive options for influencing or interfering with the election, blank, 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 because Beijing wants to minimize the risk of blowback and hopes to stabilize the relationship after the election. The NIO, DETA have low to medium confidence in these assessments because, blank, blank, much of the available reporting would be consistent with either the mainline or alternative view. The IC included the NIO for the East Asia and other NIC officers, assesses Beijing has not deployed influence efforts intended to change the outcome of the U.S. presidential election. Blank. The Chinese leaders desire stability in the U.S.-China relationship and believe they have a range of tools that can achieve their goals regardless of who wins the election. The IC also assesses blank, blank, that the election of either candidate will present opportunities and challenges for China, probably informs their risk calculus against influencing the election. The IC assesses that Beijing prefers to respond to U.S. actions with restraint to show resolve and preserve the ability to repair relations after the election. They don't want to go too far, be called out as a foreign actor, and have no chance of reconciliation afterwards. Kind of like Russia did. In blank 2019, blank assessed that hostile forces could fabricate claims that Beijing was interfering in the election to demonize China and that no matter who won the election, Washington's hardline policies against Beijing were likely to change. unlikely to change. Blank, blank, Chinese blank, noted that Beijing should avoid giving Washington any pretext to scapegoat China to claim that it was interfering in the election. Blank, blank. In blank, 2020, blank, blank, also assessed, despite the president's attempts to blame China to divert attention from the pandemic and his electoral prospects, that managing tensions without causing irreparable damage to bilateral relations over the next 6 months remained in China's interest. Blank, blank, blank. Blank, blank, Chinese leaders may have decided that there is little point to taking the risk of an influence effort because they believe their preferred outcome is probable. As early as blank this year, Chinese blank assessed that the pandemic, the economic downturn, had diminished the president's re-election prospects, and since then, Beijing has been planning for either electoral outcome and conducting outreach to both candidates in their campaigns. The IC has seen no indication, blank, blank, that Beijing is engaged in an effort to influence the outcome of the presidential election, nor has it observed the activity that it assesses as likely the result of such an effort by Beijing. While we have seen Beijing develop blank, 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 other options that could be used to influence the election, we have not seen these capabilities deployed. Blank, 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 claimed that China had not interfered with U.S. elections and recommended that China speak and act circumspectly when faced with U.S. assertions about Chinese and Russian interference. Blank. Blank in blank, blank, 2019, blank, 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 to prevent the U.S. president's re-election by suppressing his base, blank, 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 blank. The NIO and DETA agree with large majority of the IC's judgment about China's calculus and approach to the election. They assess, however, that the IC's judgment that no element of the Chinese government has taken any steps to influence the presidential election, blank, 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 at least through the summer. They also have less confidence than the rest of the IC that China's preparations for blank influence efforts were not carried out, blank, 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 given contradictory reporting. So basically they're saying, like, we understand that this group believes that they didn't do any of this, but we think maybe they did, at least over the summer. Then they backed off when they saw that Trump was probably going to lose. Anyways, all right. Vulnerabilities. This is the last one. Sorry. We assess that at least Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea have the capability to access and potentially manipulate data in U.S. election-related computer systems, but we do not know whether they have specific plans to interfere with the functioning of these systems. We assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration database, poll books, and official election websites, are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use access to these systems to disrupt election processes. Systems that tabulate, transmit, or display election results are vulnerable to localized exploitation, but would be difficult to manipulate on a wide enough scale to alter the election outcome. Again, they're not altering election outcomes. And you have to think, like, even with online, like, troll farm influence and shit, there's a lot of that shit's homegrown too. And how do you stop it? Like, if a meme gets made by China or Russia and goes fucking viral because they had 200,000 people repost it or whatever, and then it's spread locally, homegrown by Americans who believe it, how do you even stop that? Adversary claims of manipulation would be difficult to disprove and could undermine public confidence in the elections, which is exactly what Trump pounced on. We judge that U.S. adversaries, including at a minimum, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state actors, have the capabilities to compromise U.S. election infrastructure for the 2020 presidential election. Adversaries gaining access to U.S. election-related systems could disrupt voting process, steal sensitive data, or undermine the confidence in the election results, but we do not know whether any of them have specific plans to manipulate the election-related systems. Russia, almost certainly, all U.S. state election networks during the 2016 election cycle accessed election-related infrastructure in at least 2 states and exfiltrated voter data from at least 1 state. Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea are all capable of conducting similar operations during the 2020 election cycle, judging from their known cyber capabilities and past operations. The availability of sophisticated computer network intrusion or attack tools on the dark web gives additional countries and non-state actors the potential capability to interfere in the election. We judge that cyber criminals and hacktivists could also target election infrastructure for financial or political reasons based on past incidents, possibly or definitely attributed to such groups. Attack, compromise, exploit, scan. We assess that adversaries could most easily exploit centralized election-related data repositories because of their ease of access. These are like where you store like voter data and registration and shit like that. Voter registration database, poll books, state and local election official websites, vote administering systems vulnerability to localized. Again, they would have to set someone up in every fucking county, and sometimes in multiple, like in big cities, you'd have to have fucking 50 goddamn teams running around at every fucking polling place. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. All right, that's all we got from Trump. That was released, just so we're all caught up. And I think that Trump saw this when he was in office, getting ready to lose, and fucking pounced on it, right? There's a chance that, like, these foreign actors were trying to undermine our election process and make people fucking doubt it. And Trump used that to his benefit and did the exact same fucking thing. The exact same fucking thing. It may also be where Elon got his ideas. Sorry, I'm back.
Covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked.
How were they stole?
Yeah, those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country. A standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this.
It is worth noting that the teleprompter guy was laid off today. The guy who usually runs the teleprompters for these things. So who knows how long this is going to go, guys.
Used to undermine my first administration in our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible.
Is that why all of our voter information got stolen?
Going on, this document says
you did a good job, or you did. There's no.
While he was president.
Efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the president of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said.
In touch with those people.
The Chinese government wanted the U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known.
I would just like to jump in here and say that according to what I have found, because I knew he was going to bring this stuff up, China considered but did not deploy any of the tactics that he's talking about. The influence that did happen was from Russia, which is correct, but it was working to help him in winning the election. And so his own facts and officials are has like some sort of intel that he's releasing that could be misleading, and they have been talking about this since before this live started. But yeah, the only Russian and China interference was to help him. So
incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bag. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government.
Okay, 96% of voters use paper verifiable systems, and machines aren't internet connected, by the way. They have separate clouds, and so there's no documented case of a flaw actually changing any of the U.S. outcomes from it. So vulnerability, by the way, is not the same as exploitation, and what he's doing is using a lot of exploitation here.
Adversaries, including, at a minimum, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it? Made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other official election websites, are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America.
Disrupt the
Tonight, we're
fraudulent
releasing
election
all of those
processes
findings and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible
They're
machines.
not on the internet.
Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an
Maduro
audit.
in Venezuela, or are we talking about the election? What's the number that's been done? Because Venezuela was corrupt as hell, absolutely. But
our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned, they couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on
we were so close.
You mean like when Elon Musk was giving out $1 million for people to vote for you?
Believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally
I thought it was an FBI analysis.
put together. These disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking.
I would just like to say that every security researcher that has talked about this has found that the voting machines are vulnerable and was used to steal any elections, that the documented reality of cases where non-U.S. citizens have voted is so extraordinarily rare that we can't even create graphs on it. There's not enough data from it because it's so rare. People are not really moving over here and then living undocumented with the grand scheme of not voting for Trump. It's insane.
Was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what
Democrats won't give them to us.
Any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, we should be together. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody.
Yeah.
It should not be a partisan
We'll go make friendship bracelets in a little bit. The TLDR on, and we'll get back to him, unfortunately, but this entire speech that he's giving is this foreign threat plus common sense ID and then plus non-citizens is going to equal some sort of Protection-Free and Fair Elections Act, right? The SAVE Act. And so I just would like everyone to keep in the back of their mind as we continue to watch this, that protection is absolutely the takeover. Every single thing that they are suggesting to introduce has a dual purpose. It's always going to have a dual purpose. It's not just going to be annoying for annoying sake. So just think
watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues.
Also, a couple of stats just while we're here really quick. So hand counting paper is a lot more slow, right? Which is what takes months to do this, and more error prone than the machines are. So this is per election administrators are all coming together and saying this. And a prior executive order had already ordered that the EAC was to ban machines that count via barcode or QR, because that's when interference can happen. The more you have space between what it is you're doing and the signal it has to send somewhere, that's when the interference happens. But these machines it had almost very little interference that we've had documented, except for when Trump was able to have the Russians help. But the barcode to QR, all bad. Mail ballots were 30% of all of 2024 ballots, and this is not worth banning.
Cheat. The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat, because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo, voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo, voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate.
Yeah, no, I've got a few things to say to our main representative, namely that this is a bait and switch moment. The pictures having identification, obviously having basic identification showing that you are a U.S. citizen. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But the problem is when common sense voter ID turns into that bait and switch, and the SAVE Act requires documentary proof of citizenship, which would be passport or birth certificate in person every time you register or update. Oh, is he done? Is that it? That was a little too quick. Wasn't it like 3 hours or something like that? It was insane. Okay, great. So
that was pretty quick.
We take him away. Yeah, as I was saying, is that whenever you kill any sort of either online voting or mail or drive registration, essentially what he's wanting to do is instead of update that, kill it. Utah, for instance, has checked around 2 million voters, and there was 1 non-citizen voter registration, and they have been fine. I mean, there is so much opportunity for a database to be created of our information for voting and to be used and weaponized against us. I mean, this is partially what I was talking about in my last video, but mostly what I was talking about with these national databases, or rather a combined database on national citizens. And that is a very dangerous thing, because that's when you can start weaponizing the search for that, which, by the way, guys, I started making this yesterday, and I gotta still work on it, because I think people were a little confused on how this idea of social security numbers turning into these database situations. And so I tried to write it out for you guys, which I'll work on it a little bit more. But essentially, what they're trying to do is create a situation in which you need an identity key, which is something that China already has and it has been working on for the past 5 years. And they use that as a means of tracking citizens and citizenship, starting as national security, and then use it in order to do searches at various degrees. This being the degree in which China is already using this. So let's say you take your social security number, for instance, and you make that your key, which again, it was never supposed to be your identity. It was always supposed to be just a reference number for the Treasury, Social Security Administration, to be able to make sure that they were paying everybody back when they're supposed to. Yeah, me try to raise this guy. This unstable table my thing is on right now is a little worrisome. So if you guys collapse, I don't have insurance. I'm sorry. But what this does is, rather than have a system that, like right now, we have very searchable separate systems, right? We call this one-to-one searches. And that's when you can type in a name like, Dre or Gabby or whoever, and you can find their social security numbers or IRS records, a DMV record, stuff like that, a health bank, whatever it is. But it's a one-to-one search. You type in a name and you get that information back. What we've since done in the technological age, which is not necessarily a bad thing, is created these one-to-end searches. So being able to say, like, put in somebody's identifier and then get back a cacophony of information on them through APIs, which is what it replaces this idea of like a security key, but still in separate databases. And you're able to like have secure batches, share domains, formal agreements in which you can have that information talk to each other. But for the most part, that stays separate. Now, what this unified central action database is this one-to-end-to-one kind of search. And all that means is that there's one common identifier that traces you across everything. So even though we think that the government has all this information on us, so what does it matter if they use our social security number for voting, right? Where we have to put our identity, give a photo to it. All of a sudden now the social security card becomes an identification card, and they're able to attach that to this database to where we don't even need these anymore because we have one large one. Then that's where it gets really dangerous, because you can say, okay, what did she vote last year? And then also, I don't know, show how many times she didn't pay her credit card bill on time. And now you have all of these ways to weaponize and have information on people to create reasons to either create obstacles for them, to be able to take rights away from them. So I'm gonna work on this a little bit more, so it's a little more visual, not so like school booky, but I feel like I hopefully was in my Trump accounts video a little bit. I was trying to like lay the base of this, but I think that we need to go deeper into what unified databases are in the grand scheme. But yeah, this is not good. I don't know if, how many of you are from Substack right now. Shout out Substack, by the way, for being here. How great is it that I can start doing my Tuesday lives from here, and YouTube meet Substack, Substack meet YouTube. Substack's maybe a little shy. YouTube, to go easy on them. Don't be weird. YouTube's great. I feel like I'm like introducing my stepchildren. I'm really happy that you guys are here. Unfortunate circumstances, but very happy you're here. So let me just pull up, since that wrapped itself up pretty quickly. Oh, I'm going to go over the website really quickly today. Really quickly, we'll just go over it. That was released. So I have been talking to someone who has been working within these websites that are getting pushed out, not with the National Design Studio, but that are getting pushed out with the DOJ, for instance, the one that just got released today. Let me pull up. And it's for this election fraud election. There we go. The civic. Okay. And I started making my own website to counteract all
into Palantir.
Tomfoolery with this election stealing stuff. Okay. And let's pull it up here. Okay. So today, civil rights. Just share screen, present to share. Civil rights. Share. Okay. So sorry, I got a little hair on my lip. So this is what was launched today. It is the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, and it goes through all of these ways to safeguard the election integrity. This is not, again, designed by National Design Studio that I can tell, and also the people who are designing it that I was talking to. All of their websites are very vibe coded, is all I'll say to that. But yeah, it goes through all of this defunct information about election issues that are either nothing burgers, non-issues, or just like extremely fabricated, soft, barely truths. And I was only able to just go through it a little bit before this live because they just released it this afternoon. But this is supposed to be, by the way, a little insider information. It's supposed to be a clickable map. It's not clickable yet, but it will be, I guess, allegedly in the next few days. But yeah, they're like, we can basically track all of their enforcement actions, which I guess that's not clickable through to anything yet either. God, I love it. I love to see how unprepared they are for this stuff. Well, luckily, my website will then have time to catch up because I started working on one that I want to share with you guys. Let me just make sure it's ready. So I've been designing one that's for the Dre dossier on my GitHub, and I already bought the domain. So this one is called civil rights justice.justice.gov election integrity. I have named mine the real electionintegrity.org because .com is someone sitting on that already. And I have it almost styled exactly like theirs. Wait, let me pull it up. And I've only gone through the first couple pages of their stuff, but here we go. Look at this. Okay, docs. Okay, here we go. Assets. CSS. Amazing. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll show you the Dre dossiers. I'm not going to show much, but on my GitHub, I'm putting together the Dre dossiers, real election integrity website that I'm hoping in the next day or so will be live. I've also started putting together all of the map of, I need to see what he's going to put behind each state, but I have it already so that whatever it is that he's claiming, I can at least check it and make sure that it's not, if not just a straight out lie, that yeah, we have at least something to combat it. And I'm going to try to design it without it being, looking like a fake government website, because that would be, I'm pretty sure, illegal. But as close to looking like this as possible, because I think it's important that as much bad information as they put out there, and as smart as a lot of us are, to know not to like take the bait of it, it unfortunately will get to the lowest common denominator. And I don't mean that in like a derogatory way. I just mean that in a real way, that it will get bad information traveling. And that makes me really nervous in a lot of ways. And I know that we do have people who are, watchdogs and, oh, did this just start working in the last 2 seconds? Oh God, they're watching the live stream, guys. Whoever you are, get out of here. Not my live stream. You stay away from my, if you touch one of my people. Oh my God. Okay, let's see what they got for California. Oh wow, okay, so yeah, they just had to wait to launch the backend. Oh yeah, my signal's going off. Yeah, okay, so they had to wait until after this to launch the backend. Okay. I'm gonna put in the chat, guys, this right now so you guys can click if you're on a computer, if you want to click through it and save it. And so this is the real one, by the way, mine will be .org. And obviously not a civil rights justice thing, but yeah, okay, someone shout out a state. I'm gonna click it and we're gonna just read through it real quick. Let's see. I'm from Mississippi. We could look at Mississippi. Ohio. Oh gosh, you're gonna pick the. Okay, wait. Let me see Mississippi first. Okay. DOJ enters general election. Oh wait, that's right. I remember reading this. These were in the HTML earlier. These are months ahead of time. So what do you mean that they're already doing this? This is what, 6 weeks ahead of time? I don't know about that. Seems a little sus. How can you do something 6 weeks ahead of time? Because it sounds like you're not saying a plan, but that you're. Yeah, there was something. I saw some stuff about Hawaii earlier. DOJ. Yeah. Again. Okay. So most of them are probably going to be just. With one extra, is Hawaii for failing to provide federal election. Because everybody's going to get sued for not, providing federal election records, because that's how they're going to create a voter database. By the way, let's talk about really quick how these elections are. I'm going to pull up an example of how elections are kept, because they're in their own air gap systems. It's important that you guys know this. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. Let me put this on a stage. Cut this and share. Stop sharing this. There we go. Next stage. Okay. So this is the Institute for Responsive Government, and this is one example. They talk through why voting machines are among the most tightly controlled systems. Because again, unlike, on a random example, flock cameras, right, which upload to the cloud, a cloud that is air gapped, but within a reason, because it's not in its own systems. Like infrastructure is still connected to Amazon's wider infrastructure, right? So that information goes up somewhere and is accessible by a lot of different people. Air gapped systems are hardware-wise created in such a way that when that information travels, that it is completely unless you have some sort of Iranian level hacking skills, knowing exactly each city, like how they're collecting and where it's getting sent. You have to know exactly where it's being routed to in order to interfere. And the people who have been protecting our voting rights and our votes up until this point have been very diligent. With some, there's been some
exactly, or manipulate it, or purge people from the rolls. Like they could do all kinds of shit with that information. States do their own fucking elections. They do not need a federal database of all this shit where Trump just to fuck around in. Look what they did as to the Social Security office. They started selling your shit off almost immediately. The first guy came in and logged into a Russian account and started sending your Social Security shit to Russia. Like, they're horrible pieces of shit. They don't need it. Fuck off.
Cases in which I've not been thrilled, like with Arizona, how they have allowed others into the air gap system, and they're considering not doing those air gap systems. Like they want essentially voter information to go on like a flock camera, like similar situation where it's accessible by the DOJ, not by your local sheriff, but the DOJ could get into the back end. And remember, anywhere data touches, I don't care where it is, always leaves behind residual data. You can delete it, and it's like when you dust a house, right? You might get all the dust off, but there's still a little dust that's gonna go settle somewhere else. And so it's just really important that no matter what platform voter information touches, there will be a little bit left behind always, and that's too much in this case. But yeah, so paper ballots provided physical backups. So voting and tabulation machines aren't connected to the internet, which is the point that I was trying to make, and they make a lot more elegantly. So air-gapped networks ensure that voting and tabulation machines are not connected to the public internet, which sharply reduces the responsibility of tampering. We'll say it again for the cheap seats. Election equipment is not connected to the internet. Not like flock cameras, which is connected to the internet, or bouncing from whatever Starlink machine that Elon Musk has floating up there. That's going to come to bite us in the arse in a good, give it 10 years. Man, he's going to be like literally the information source of the world, like in terms of what he's got floating up there. That's crazy to think about. I hope NASA's resilient. But yeah, whenever Trump's talking about it takes so long to count it, the only time it does is when they're having to count the physical ballots, which is not often, hopefully, because it's just backup. And that's when things can be duplicated, things can get shoved in, disgusting. So yeah, it is not an issue. It's not connected to the internet. There's never supposed to be a QR code that you can scan to vote. The second they want you to take a freaking picture of your face, I'm going to say it here, it's going to get attached to your Social Security card. It's going to turn into Social Security information. While we're all here, really quick, I got a lot to unpack with this. I got to still keep building my website. I opened my first Cloudflare account tonight to get my website up and going, and I'll let everybody know when it launches. But there's something really interesting that I found the other day when I was making my Trump accounts video about the Social Security administration, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Social Security. I can't type and talk at the same time. History is the history of the Social Security card, and it's really interesting. So I'll share my screen with you, because Social Security was never meant to be an identification system. And again, this is not me being against the idea that you have to show that you are a citizen of the United States in order to vote. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I do think there's wrong with creating a unified key, an identity key for a database that can then be used to track you wherever you go all the time in a very coercive way that other countries like China do currently. But so the Social Security card started right after the Great Depression, and the idea behind it was so that the issuing of it would give the government an ability to track what payments it owes, all that kind of stuff. I believe it started under the Roosevelt administration, if I'm not mistaken. And if you remember, at the bottom of those cards, there is, I always remember, I don't know about you guys, but I remember as a kid especially, whenever my parents would talk about our Social Security cards, they kept ours in a safe, me and my brothers. And the Social Security cards were really, really special, and they sit in a safe and nobody touches them. And so I thought that was, for the longest time, my identity. Like, that was like, might as well be my birth certificate, was my Social Security card. But that's not what they're supposed to be, which is kind of interesting. Security cards. Here we go, I'll show you guys an old version of them. Yeah, here's a really old version of them. Here we go. Yeah, I shared this one. So this is what, there we go. So this is what they looked like. Let me open image a new tab. Sure. Ooh, oh, sorry guys. Oh God. I'm moving too fast, too furious. Here we go. So this is what a really old version of them looked like. And on the back, after you send the card, and report the number to your employer, and it was a way to track your accounts, right? Now the ones that we got issued, or at least I'll say I got issued, looked more similar to, let's see, not that. Mine had the little thing, not for identification. Not for identification cards. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Share, open image. So mine looked a little darker blue on the other side, but at the bottom it said for Social Security and tax purposes, not for identification, because even at the time of these cards being issued out and it being something that the government was promising, like, hey, we want to make sure you get paid, here's why we're issuing these out, that people still had that in the back of their mind, like, oh God, this feels like a tracking system. That's not what we're supposed to have, even though, we have passports and stuff. Like, we weren't supposed to be assigned a number that is like, you are citizen number 592-03-. Like, that's not what we are ever supposed to be. And that's kind of what Social Security is getting turned into, which is why I'm not advocate. I am of the mind that Social Security is not getting taken away from us, maybe the financial side of it to some degree, but I think that they are going to keep building on it in a very dangerous way and weaponizing it in a way that is not supposed to be. Back to the history of it. So the second version they did for office use only. They went through a bunch of iterations, but what I thought was really interesting is when you get to the, I think past the 40s into the Secretary of Administration. Oh yeah, the card that was the same as the prior version, the instructions on the back, the card were revised, also shown. So this has changed a lot because it's been one of the cards that's had the fewest laws attached to it, which also makes it open to being the most vulnerable, because with an identification situation, like something you get from the DMV, like a license, right? There are strict laws around them that often protect you then, where, it can't be misused, like someone can't use your license and, pretend to be, there are a lot of tight laws, and it belongs to the DMV, which is a federal administration that also has a lot of sub-agencies that help protect your cards, where people just keep kind of lazily using the Social Security number as like, well, people already have one, so might as well have it be the thing for this and the thing for this, and it's starting to collect more and more jobs that it wasn't originally supposed to have, and that's kind of what makes it a bit dangerous. Where's the, wait a second, I want to find the, give me 1 second. Social Security history. There was a wonderful, let me check one more place. See, NDS, Trump accounts, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Science Cloud, Social Security Administration launch. Social Security Administration. I'll have to find the website to send to you guys. I thought I had a bookmark. But in any case, it was under the Roosevelt, not Teddy, but Franklin Roosevelt, who wanted to make sure that the Treasury was held accountable for the money and that they could never throw it away either. Like, say, oh, we don't want to have to pay you anymore, therefore let's just throw out the cards. And it's like it never happened. And so they did spend time to protect it in terms of how it affects you financially, but almost in no other way. Isn't it crazy? By 1976, we were on the 19th version of the Social Security number. That it's gone through so many different versions. The seal changed to that of the DHHS seal. I mean, you can see essentially how it would make sense that if you were going to try to create some sort of identification system for voting, for your taxes, for everything, that this is the most malleable number, because it has always been the most malleable number. And then it got the not valid ID for employment in 1982. The 27th version of the SSN, anti-copy void patterns. Oh my God. I mean, it is just like, when you sit down and look at it, it is insane. Do not carry it with you. That's, I was born in 96, so I've gotten just a brand new 29th version of the SSN. Not to brag, but we kept that in the safe. So I don't know where it is now, so don't ask me, but I'm pretty sure my mom has it, or not. I don't know. But yeah, there's also a paper I read, which I'll have to send at another time, that of someone who's advocating for the tightening of laws and restrictions around the Social Security number, and to add them now, and brought up a lot of really interesting court cases of times the Social Security number was abused. And again, this is, so what Trump was talking about tonight, the icification of voting, right? They're going to weaponize ICE in many ways to ensure voting compliance, or whatever he wants to call it. And Social Security has already been weaponized by ICE, with the IRS sharing that information. ICE sharing. And the Social Security numbers were used. Social Security numbers. Yeah, ICE was matching taxpayer records with ICE data through the IRS. Yeah, Social Security. This is, yeah, here we go. So ICE and IRS reached agreement to share taxpayer information of suspected undocumented immigrants. And suspected is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Okay. Because
suspected.
I Tim Hortons coffee one day, and they're like, we're going to look you up. And like, it's just, this was in November 2025. And so his like little army of ICE boys, let's see, I violating IRS own confidentiality. Yeah. So they're essentially sharing Social Security numbers. And so this is also part of the argument that I will make when it comes to people saying, like, they already have that information anyways, so what does it matter? Do you see how ICE couldn't just, like, they had to work with the IRS and like formally have an agreement, file an agreement to share that information, which then gets logged, which is what I was saying with the, that's system B, interoperable. That's through API, secure badges. So maybe ICE got a secure badge, maybe an API to the system, whatever it was, it still left a paper trail because it created a formal agreement. So this system can ask, does X equal X? Like, so does Dre, she says she is, it does her face match to face, the 3-point scan, whatever. And that's essentially all that it can do. Whereas once we stop leaving behind that paper trail and we get to this, and we use like an identity key for this, which is system C, it becomes where the operator can generate a usable X domain profile, trigger any kind of action that can just essentially talk between all of them. So we want to keep it above.
We saw what he had to say. We've read all the papers. None of it said that they changed the outcome of any vote. I'm sure he's going to try to claim that it has something to do with 2020. It clearly didn't.
Here's what's going to happen tonight. The world's most famous sore loser will deliver a primetime presidential sour grapes address to pursue his 6-year-old grievances about the 2020 election, while his war in the Middle East spirals out of control and the cost of living continues to rise for Americans across the country.
All right, everybody, what the absolute hell was that? Donald Trump has been announcing all week that he was giving a huge speech to the nation on Thursday nights, and that was disastrous. Multiple news channels refused to carry that abomination of a speech. And I'm not even going to show you some of these parts where he's just ranting and raving about election fraud, but I do want to show you a president who is struggling to speak, lying about the Iran war, and barely even able to read the teleprompter during his speech. Before I even jump in, ABC, NBC, and multiple other networks refused to even air Donald Trump's emergency speech to the nation because he was revisiting old election conspiracy claims that have gotten news channels sued or taken off the air or discussing things like that. Ironically, Trump is now calling for the revocation of ABC and NBC licenses because they snubbed his speech. Here's the dictatorial president who is trying to lie about election fraud, lie about the Iran war, but whose voice is so hoarse that you can barely understand what he's saying. If you appreciate these videos, drop a like, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to go see The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan tonight. All these right-wingers are pissed off that this movie has diversity in it. We're going to go see it. We're going to go enjoy it. Let's watch this.
This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars. Like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Along.
Bro, drink some water. We also have to point out Donald Trump put the largest tax hike on American families in American history with his tariffs that hit every single country, spiked unemployment, spiked inflation. Inflation is not down to the lowest point. It is struggling right now. Here's Trump lying about Iran.
Millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and we will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly.
When are we going to see the fruits of that labor? It's like Trump is living in his own psychosis, his own alternate reality that he's trying to pull half of the country into. Do not believe these lies. We are not winning big in Iran. We are not winning big in the economic sector. Right now we have zero concessions from the Iranian regime. Listen to Trump then complain about China before he builds up to his big lie.
Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history.
This is all a complete lie. Let me show you some counter-programming by Senator John Ossoff, who Trump was going to invalidate with this speech.
Here's what's going to happen tonight. The world's most famous sore loser will deliver a primetime presidential sour grapes address to pursue his 6-year-old grievances about the 2020 election, while his war in the Middle East spirals out of control and the cost of living continues to rise for Americans across the country. I expect the president to reheat
while everything spirals out of control.
Litigated and audited and confirmed 2020 presidential election and Georgia election that Donald Trump lost. And let me be very clear about this. If the president declares,
I think it was recorded too,
or if the president declares Georgia's sitting United States senators illegitimate, he is declaring Georgia voters illegitimate. It's Donald Trump who tried to defraud Georgia voters in that election. Donald Trump who tried to commit election fraud when he called Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
I kind of want to check this out. Hold on before we go. It's already 1:30 here. But
growing signs that President Trump's MAGA base is fracturing, with high-profile defections by former Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and influencer Ashley St. Clair, and recent polling that indicates that the overall number of people who identify as Republican is shrinking. But for the diehard, leaving MAGA isn't easy. When you were a part of the MAGA movement, how deep were you? I was as deep as anyone could have been. I was an aspiring MAGA pundit. I had bylines in places like Fox and The Federalist. I spoke at Trump groups. I was a donor on the campaign. I was unapologetically a MAGA and Trump supporter. Rich Logus is the founder and CEO of Leaving MAGA, a nonprofit for those disillusioned by the movement. The group, which Logus says is funded entirely by small donors, provides support groups, de-radicalization resources, and platform for members to share their experiences. After I left in 2022, I realized that because MAGA is a community itself, to leave, I thought that I should build a community for people who also decide to leave. When I left MAGA, I had nowhere to go. To get a better understanding of what makes people leave MAGA, we heard from an array of the group's members.
I grew up really poor, so a lot of my friends' parents would be responsible for helping me get to prom or making sure I had, new shoes for school, and they were all MAGA. And it was very much this constant conversation of, if you want to have nice things, be a Republican. Look at what we have. Look what we're doing for you. They say Republicans are cruel and heartless, but look, I'm taking care of you. If I was cruel and heartless, would I do that?
I really wanted acceptance with my father, and my father was very much into Fox News, so that was something that we would connect on.
I became heavily indoctrinated into trad wife culture. Household voting was something myself and my fellow trad wives in the church, we were all absolutely fine with household voting. And that
just to clarify, for people who don't know, household voting means the woman does not vote.
So the SAVE Act, in essence, is to take that right away from women.
By the way, while we're on that topic, here you go.
I see it as our household vote, and that half of my vote was stolen from me in women's suffrage. And so my wife votes, but she votes alongside me. Correct. She votes my vote because what she's doing is, as a woman who fears the Lord and as a submissive wife, she's saying, evil men stole half of your vote and gave it to me, and I'm giving it back. I see it as our household vote, and that half of my vote was stolen.
You heard that, ladies?
Women's suffrage. And so my wife votes, but she votes alongside me. Correct. She votes my vote because what she's doing is, as a woman who fears the Lord and as a submissive wife.
And we have people literally in front of Congress still doing this shit.
Do you deny that Joe Biden won the 2020 election?
Senator, I'm not an election denier. Joe Biden was certified as the president of the United States.
Why phrase it like that? Like if someone said, runner A, B, and C are running, and runner A crossed the line first, and they said, well, do you agree that runner A won the race? And I'm like, I agree that the people who decide who won the race have said that a runner A was the winner. They all have to answer like this because Daddy might be watching. They don't want to get in trouble.
Election denial is is something we cannot have. So I will take that as you do not deny that Joe Biden won the 2020 election.
Yeah, I'm not. I think, let me just be clear. We have substantial work to do, and I've made it in improving our electoral processes. It's part of national security, and I feel strongly about that.
I'm just asking a really simple question. Who won the 2020 election?
As I said to you, we went through our processes, and Joe Biden became the president of the United States. And that's
not an answer to the question of who. I'm asking one more time.
Okay.
Who won the 2020
I'm not. This is like I'm just not. I'm here to talk about my qualifications.
One of your qualifications is you told us you're going to tell the truth to power, and you won't answer a very simple question.
I think I've answered it many times.
You have not answered it.
Okay.
Can you tell me why Joe Biden was certified as the winner of the 2020 election?
I'm going back to my constitutional law here, but I don't want to continue to have a debate about this, but I believe he had the most electoral votes.
So he won the election?
He followed our process, had the most electoral votes, was declared.
Why can't you just say yes? Well, he followed our process. He had the most electoral votes, and he was sworn into office at 3:43 p.m. So there's your answer. Why can't you just say Joe Biden won?
The winner.
Because Daddy's watching.
And who has the most electoral votes? Is it the person that wins or the person that loses?
I think that's your characterization.
You refuse to answer a simple matter of fact about the 2020 election. Is that right?
No, that's not right.
Then answer the question. Who won the 2020 election?
I have answered the question.
Answer it. What is your answer?
I've given you my answer.
What is your answer? You refuse to answer a basic question about who won a presidential election, but you asked to lead America's intelligence community? Isn't it humiliating to be unable to answer this question, to have to indulge the president's delusions? We know, you know, everybody in this room knows the truthful answer to that question. Why can you not give it?
I think I gave you the answer.
Do you deny that Joe Biden won the 2020 election?
Senator, I'm not.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Missouri pastor has taken a leave of absence and is now seeking professional counseling after his sermon went viral and was called out for being sexist. Pastor Stuart Allen Clark told women in his congregation that they need to look attractive.
Built like Bort and telling women that they need to look attractive
for their husbands or else they'd stray because, quote, God made men to be drawn to beautiful women. But the 22-minute sermon did not stop there. Here's more of what he said.
If you're not hot enough, your wife will cheat, or your husband will cheat on you, because that's the way God made women.
My friend, your man needs an attractive wife. Now look, I'm not saying every woman can be the epic trophy wife of all time, like Melania Trump. I'm not saying that at all. Now, most women can't be trophy wives, but you know, like her, maybe a participation trophy. I don't know, but all I can.
They actually have that picture up behind him while he's doing his sermon.
Everybody looks like that. Amen. No, everyone looks like that. But you don't need to look like a butch either.
You don't need to look like a Bort, but look at you.
A butch either.
Oh my gosh. He said an amen after that statement.
That was my favorite part.
I can't. Hold it. The Pastor's Church, General Baptist Ministries, posted a statement on Facebook saying that this sermon, quote, included comments that are not consistent with the positions and values of General Baptist, I would hope. It also said they believe, quote, that every woman was created in the image of God and they should be valued for that reason. I could not believe this was real, Jeff, when I saw this sermon. He also said that women, they lose themselves when they get married, they need to lose weight. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think there's two sides to the story, so I'm going to make light of it. Okay. You know in your head when you're like talking,
I have seen this before. It's old, but yeah.
I kind of digging myself a hole, but you're still talking.
So funny.
That's a little more inside baseball. I would love that if I was like, well, women and men are equal except in the fact that, amen. And you just drop an amen and then you're off the hook. You're like, woo.
The audience wasn't with the amen. Like, the amen got quieter and quieter.
All right, guys, it's 1:30 here. Please consider supporting the show. I appreciate it. That's how we pay the bills around here. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here tonight. Hanging out with me. Listen to me, bitch. Listen to Trump lie. Thank you, guys. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you about the next one. Talk to y'all later. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork
from Canada. That's the problem right there.
On this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped him to my shoes and
that we read every document they released tonight. For the election integrity documents, that was all of them.
Between, put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. What are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing
Good night, guys.
all over. Hands on it.
Support the show.
Ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network, dude.